Chapter 1282. Chapter 1282. Chapter 1282. Stall for time. There's definitely something fishy going on. After a few roars, Supreme Bone completely calmed down. Such calmness was a little scary. Puff. Supreme Bone forced out a drop of blood essence and used it to set up a small voice transmission formation. Supreme Bone spoke a few words into the voice transmission formation and then quietly waited for the other party's reply. For Supreme Bone, waiting was torture. He paced back and forth in the secret room, looking very impatient and restless. Catcher. In order to alleviate this uneasiness, Supreme Bone killed several warriors in the cages and devoured their souls. After devouring the souls of these warriors, Supreme Bone's avatar was strengthened again. Take back the altar, or die. Suddenly, a reply came from the other end of the sound transmission formation. The 7 short words had a special magical power that made Supreme Bone tremble all over. Supreme Bone knew very well that the other party was not joking. If he couldn't take back the altar, the other party would probably destroy this clone of his, and even his main body would be implicated. Ka. Supreme Bone clenched his fists, making cracking sounds. Things started because of him, so he had no choice but to get back at them. I'll start with you guys. Taking a deep breath, Supreme Bone walked toward the nearest cage. Poochie. Supreme Bone clenched his right hand into a fist and punched the martial artist, causing him to explode. Soul force gushed out from this martial artist's body, wanting to escape from this region. With Supreme Bone around, how could he possibly escape? Supreme Bone opened his mouth wide and swallowed the martial artist's soul. I can kill all of these people and increase the strength of my soul avatar. Supreme Bone felt that it might not be too much of a loss today. That was because there was a high chance that he could raise his avatar's strength to the pinnacle 9th grade sovereign realm. Of course, everything was built on the premise that he could recapture the altar. If he couldn't take back the altar, everything he was doing now would be for naught. Take back the altar as soon as possible. A cold voice came from the sound transmission formation again. Upon hearing this figure, Supreme Bone shuddered. He had forgotten that the sound transmission formation was still open. On the other side of the sound transmission formation, there was an extremely powerful pill puppet. Supreme Bone could clearly sense the anger in the other party's tone. If he could not take back the altar, he would most likely implicate the 10,000 Bone Cave. Die, all of you. Supreme Bone could not care less. He had seen the Red Fiend in action and knew the Red Fiend's strength. If he wanted to fight against the Red Demon Sword, he had to raise his soul avatar's strength to the peak of the 9th grade sovereign realm. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to fight against the Red Demon Sword even if he fought his way into the deepest secret chamber. Pu. Outside the secret chamber, Supreme Bone killed the martial artists in the cages one by one and devoured their souls. Inside the secret chamber, Ningyu saw a familiar face. Dark Emperor. Ha ha ha, Ningyu, I knew you would come to save me. You really didn't disappoint me. When he saw Ningyu enter the secret room, the Dark Emperor was first stunned, and then he said, "Save me quickly. I've been trapped here for a long time." Catcher. Ningyu stomped on the ground and leaped, cutting off the chains on the Dark Emperor's body. Tell me quickly, did you rob the 10,000 Bone Cave clean? This is the deepest part of the 10,000 Bone Cave. Since you could come here, you must have gotten rid of the elixir puppets in the 10,000 Bone Cave. Give me something good, I want to recover to my peak as soon as possible. After breaking free, the Dark Emperor said hurriedly. Ningyu was speechless. The Dark Emperor was still the Dark Emperor. He had not changed much. I'm going into seclusion to refine the things in the altar in the storage ring. You guys protect me. No matter what, don't let Supreme Bone break in. Ningyu opened his mouth and was about to say something, but the sapling's words rang in his ears. Seclusion. Ningyu frowned slightly and said, how long will it take? Also, how powerful will your combat strength be after refining the things in the altar? At least half an hour, at most a month. The sapling said. Ningyu's face darkened, and he was speechless for a long time. If you need a month to recover, then what difference is there between us staying here and seeking death? Sapling, in my opinion, we should leave the 10,000 Bone Cave as soon as possible. It's not safe here. Ningyu began to communicate with the sapling, and said, "With our strength, there is no way we can resist Supreme Bone." As he spoke, Ningyu stopped. I. Ningyu immediately cursed. Because Ningyu realized that the sapling had stuck its entire body to the altar, and was starting to refine it. What's wrong? Seeing Ningyu's appearance, the Dark Emperor was confused. The Dark Emperor still did not know that the sapling had developed intelligence. He thought that Ningyu had lost his mind. "Nothing, I'm worried about Supreme Bone. He's still outside." In front of Jean-Ba, Ningyu did not want to mention the sapling, so he said so. "What are you afraid of? With me here, I don't think that Supreme Bone would dare to come here." The Dark Emperor said proudly. "You dog, you sure are optimistic. Supreme Bone is a peak 9th grade human supreme. You want to go against him? Go home and cultivate for a few more years." As the Dark Emperor was in a miserable state, and his aura was even weak, Jean-Ba did not recognize his true identity. What? A peak 9th grade human supreme? The Dark Emperor was shocked. If it was in the past, the Dark Emperor would definitely refute if someone spoke to him like this. But now that there was a peak 9th grade human supreme outside, the Dark Emperor had to clarify. "Of course it's a peak 9th grade human supreme." Glancing at the Dark Emperor, Jean-Ba said to Ningyu, "This secret chamber is not safe. I think Supreme Bone will be here soon. We need to come up with a countermeasure." "What countermeasure?" Ningyu wanted to hear Jean-Ba's opinion. "Protect me. I'm going to execute a secret technique. Once it succeeds, I will have the combat strength of a peak 9th grade human supreme," Jean-Ba said. Without waiting for Ningyu's reply, Jean-Ba found a place to sit cross-legged and started executing the secret technique. Ningyu was completely speechless. It was one thing for the sapling to go into seclusion, but Jean-Ba, an 8th grade human supreme, also wanted to go into seclusion. It was too unkind of them to push all the problems to him. "Ningyu, what are we waiting for here? Let's get out of here." The Dark Emperor said, "Even if you and I join hands, we might not be able to withstand a full blow from a peak 9th grade human supreme. What are we staying here for? Are we courting death?" In the Dark Emperor's heart, a peak 9th grade human supreme was not invincible, but they couldn't defeat it at their current state. Unless he and Ningyu advanced to the 6th grade human supreme, they would definitely die if they stayed here. "Sigh, it's too late." With a soft sigh, Ningyu said, "Supreme Bone has already raised his soul doppelganger to the peak 9th grade human supreme. Moreover, it will be very difficult for us to leave the secret chamber. Now that things have come to this, we can only fight." Ningyu flicked his sleeves and summoned the corpse puppet from his storage ring. Chapter 1283. Crippling 1. The corpse puppet was a late-phase 9th grade sovereign, and at the same time, it was Ningyu's trump card. Ningyu knew that he would definitely encounter danger in the Myriad Bone Cave, and might even encounter an Earth sovereign. Originally, when he saw the Venerable Bone, Ningyu's first reaction was to bring out the corpse puppet, but he forcefully endured it. Because Ningyu firmly believed that there was an Earth sovereign in the Myriad Bone Cave. His trump card, the corpse puppet, could only be used after meeting an Earth sovereign. However, the current situation did not allow Ningyu to think too much. He could only bring out the corpse puppet, and hope that it could resist the Venerable Bone. "Dark Emperor, retreat first. Leave this to me." After bringing out the corpse puppet, Ningyu said in a solemn voice, "If necessary, enter the storage ring." Boom. Before Ningyu finished his words, the stone door of the secret chamber was heavily bombarded, emitting a crisp sound. "Venerable Bone." Ningyu's face turned completely dark. When he entered the secret chamber, the sapling had laid out a small-scale array. Back then, the sapling had mentioned that he could use a small-scale array to obstruct the Venerable Bone for a few minutes. However, judging from the frequency of the stone door shaking, it would take at most a minute for the stone door to be blasted open. "Ningyu, you can't escape. You'd better surrender. Otherwise, I'll refine you into a puppet, and you won't be able to reincarnate for eternity." Outside the secret chamber, the Venerable Bone and his doppelganger constantly bombarded the stone door. Every time they did so, the stone door would violently shake. Venerable Bone, I want to negotiate with you. Ningyu knew that his main objective was to stall for time, and not to fight with the Venerable Bone. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu said in a clear voice, "It's not impossible if you want the altar. Let's sit down and have a good talk. I might even return the altar to you. TSK, no matter what you say, I'll kill you today." An eerie voice resounded from the Venerable Bone's mouth. "Unless you come out now, you won't be able to escape the fate of being refined into a puppet." "All right." Inside the secret chamber, Ningyu gritted his teeth and said, "Take a few steps back, I will open the secret chamber." To be honest, Supreme Bone was a little confused when he heard Ningyu's words. Had Ningyu lost his mind? He actually wanted to take the initiative to open the secret chamber. I must be extremely careful. After some thought, Supreme Bone felt that Ningyu must have a backup plan. He took 2 steps back and said, "Come out." Creak. The heavy stone door was slowly pushed open from the inside. Ningyu slowly walked out, the red demon sword in his hand. Ningyu walked very slowly. It took him 1 minute to walk the distance of 10 steps. Another minute. Ningyu was secretly delighted, but he did not show it. If Supreme Bone knew what Ningyu was thinking, it was unknown how he would feel. "Throw away the flying sword in your hand." Supreme Bone's expression was gloomy and uncertain. Finally, he pointed at the red demon sword and said, "Then open your mind and let me control you." Ding! Ningyu tactfully threw the red demon sword aside. At the same time, he raised his hands above his head and said, "Supreme Bone, I have already opened my mind. You can come over and control me now." What the hell is he doing? The calmer Ningyu appeared, the more careful Supreme Bone was. Having been fooled once, Supreme Bone did not want to be fooled a second time. "Soul Doppelganger, go over and control him," Supreme Bone said after a moment of silence. Swoosh. The Soul Doppelganger also possessed the combat power of a 9th grade peak human supreme martial artist. Its figure flashed and flew out quickly. Oh no. The reason why Ningyu appeared calm was entirely to buy time. Now that Supreme Bone had sent his Soul Doppelganger to test Ningyu, Ningyu naturally would not stand there foolishly. Hurriedly grabbing the red demon sword on the ground, Ningyu rushed toward the secret chamber. Ningyu was very fast. In order to enter the secret chamber before the Soul Doppelganger, Ningyu did not hesitate to burn his life to increase his speed. Swoosh. In an instant, Ningyu turned into a shadow and disappeared from Supreme Bone's sight. After Ningyu disappeared, the Soul Doppelganger stopped at the same spot, its head only half a foot away from the stone door. This is my chance. Opposite the stone door, Ningyu felt that his chance had come. He first broke the array set up by the sapling and then kicked the corpse puppet out. Oh no. Retreat quickly. Supreme Bone should have been very excited after the stone door opened. However, when he saw a figure flying toward his Soul Doppelganger, his expression changed drastically and he said hurriedly, "Set up the array." Inside the secret chamber, Ningyu waved his hands repeatedly and set up several arrays at the door in an instant, firmly surrounding the secret chamber. Rumble. At this moment, Ningyu mobilized the soul force in the consciousness of the corpse puppet, controlling the corpse puppet's body to expand rapidly and finally explode with a loud bang. The corpse puppet was a 9th grade peak human supreme martial artist, and its self-destruction was extremely powerful. Supreme Bone's Soul Doppelganger was the closest to the corpse puppet, so it suffered the greatest impact and was the most terrifying. Fart. Almost in an instant, Supreme Bone's Soul Doppelganger was blasted into pieces. As for Supreme Bone himself, he was also blasted back several feet and slammed heavily against the wall of the secret chamber. The self-destruction of a 9th grade peak human supreme martial artist was extremely terrifying. Fortunately, Ningyu controlled the aftermath of the corpse puppet's self-destruction, otherwise the entire secret chamber might have been destroyed. What a pity. If I had a way to leave, I would definitely give Supreme Bone a big one. Ningyu felt a little regretful. He dared not let the corpse puppet self-destruct. After all, he was also in the secret chamber. Although there was a wall and some small arrays blocking the way, the power of a 9th grade peak human supreme martial artist self-destruction was no joke. It was enough for Ningyu to be able to destroy Supreme Bone's sole doppelganger. After all, Ningyu did not want to perish together with Supreme Bone. Ah, I'm so angry. Outside the secret chamber, Supreme Bone was so angry that his nose was crooked. It was not easy for him to raise the strength of his soul doppelganger to the 9th grade peak human supreme martial artist. Unexpectedly, it was destroyed by Ningyu's little trick. The chain doppelganger technique was different from other doppelganger techniques. Once the second doppelganger was destroyed, it would be very difficult to recover. Therefore, Supreme Bone was exceptionally enraged at this moment. His rage had reached its peak. Ningyu, you're finished. No one in this world can save you. Supreme Bone could not care less. He stepped on the ground and came to the stone door in an instant. Bang! 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 Clenching his right hand into a fist, Supreme Bone constantly bombarded the stone door. Following Supreme Bone's bombardment, the stone door shook more and more violently. After dozens of punches, the stone door was completely blasted open by Supreme Bone. Ningyu, give me your life. After blasting open the stone door, Supreme Bone took a step out and said fiercely, "You destroyed my soul doppelganger. I'll let you have a taste. Why are you talking so much nonsense? I'll let you have a taste of this first." Ningyu interrupted Supreme Bone's words. With a flick of his sleeves, a cold light swept out in a split second. Kai. The speed of this cold light was so fast that it rubbed against the air and made a kai-kai sound. Humph. Since you're not using that flying sword, it means that there's something wrong with it now. Chapter 1284. Chapter 1284. Chapter 1284. Sealing the flying sword. The ignorant are fearless. Upon hearing Supreme Bone's words, the corners of Ningyu's mouth lifted into an arc. The cold light that Ningyu threw out was none other than the world tree branch that the sapling had given him. At that time, the sapling had given him this branch so that he could force Supreme Bone to retreat and seize the altar. The sapling had said that the tree branches in this world could unleash a powerful attack at the level of an Earth Supreme. Ningyu had always wanted to use it, but never had a good opportunity. There was only one branch. Now that Jean-Ba and the sapling were in seclusion, Ningyu needed to give Supreme Bone a full blow. Even if he could not kill Supreme Bone, he must at least make him suffer a serious injury. Not good. Supreme Bone's telepathy was extremely powerful. Before the cold light could reach him, his expression changed greatly and he hastily retreated. However, Supreme Bone's retreating speed was obviously slower by half a beat. The branch of the world tree brought up a gust of wind and smashed into Supreme Bone's chest. At the critical moment, Supreme Bone stopped and injected his vitality into his wrist in an attempt to resist the branches. Catcher! Catcher! Unfortunately, this small branch was a branch of the world tree. It was extremely sturdy. Supreme Bone's hands were crippled as soon as they came into contact with the branch. Rumble! After continuously crippling Supreme Bone's hands, the branch blossomed with its brilliance and completely exploded. Puff! The explosive power of the branches was much stronger than the corpse puppet's self-destruction. Moreover, all the impact of the explosion was concentrated on Supreme Bone's heart, intending to pierce through it. Voila! Just as Supreme Bone was about to be killed, the void suddenly broke and a huge palm emerged from the void. His palm did not bother with Supreme Bone but grabbed at Ningyu instead. Universe palm. Ningyu naturally would not sit and wait for death. He gathered all the essence chi in his sea of consciousness to his wrist and blasted out a blood-colored palm print. The palm print that Ningyu blasted out was instantly smashed by the huge palm. After shattering the palm imprint, the gigantic palm pressed down, intending to crush Ningyu into pieces. Swoosh! As the gigantic palm was about to hit Ningyu, the explosion of the world tree changed direction and blasted at the palm in mid-air. The collision caused the space to tremble. It's that thing. As the two collided, the gigantic palm quickly dissipated between heaven and earth. However, just as it disappeared, a figure sounded in the area. Dan Mainland, Chenya Empire. The voice became softer and finally disappeared completely. Phew. The gigantic palm cracked and the sound dissipated. Ningyu slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. He did not expect this. Of 10 of it. 10U1. 9. Fortunately, the branches that the sapling gave him were very powerful. Otherwise, this huge palm would be enough to crush him into pieces of meat. Of 2-2-inch 111, Ning Ning U 11111 bone 19 bone 11371 the 11 bone GU1 of GU 111 of 12 of 31 was 1. Ning Yu's heart sank to the bottom. He had used both of his trump cards, the corpse puppet and the world tree trunk, but the crisis had not been resolved. Fight. Gritting his teeth, Ning Yu extended his right hand, and the red demon sword flew into his hand. Is it really that thing? To Ning Yu's surprise, Supreme Bone did not attack him immediately. Instead, his eyes dimmed as he murmured, I didn't expect it to reappear in the world after so many years. Don't worry, I won't kill you. Since you know about that thing, I'll take you away and slowly interrogate you. Then, Supreme Bone's eyes lit up, and he even laughed out loud. Supreme Bone was very excited. Originally, he would have been punished even if he had captured Ning Yu and taken back the altar after such a major incident had happened in the Myriad Bone Cave. However, Ning Yu knew about that thing, and he felt that his chance had come. As long as he could capture Ning Yu alive, not only would he not be implicated, he might even be rewarded, allowing him to improve further. If you want to fight, let's fight. Cut the crap. Ning Yu said in a low voice. Haha, don't worry, I promise I won't let you down. Supreme Bone laughed sinisterly. Is that so? At this moment, Jean B.A. suddenly opened his eyes, and an extremely terrifying aura emanated from his body. A peak 9th grade human supreme, Jean B.A. had previously said that as long as Ning Yu could delay him for a certain amount of time, he could use a secret technique to raise his strength to the peak 9th grade human supreme. The aura emanating from Jean B.A. had reached the peak 9th grade human supreme, and was even stronger than that of Supreme Bone. Jean B.A., since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Supreme Bone's eyes shot out a cold light, and he quickly dashed out. From Supreme Bone's point of view, Ning Yu was nothing to be afraid of. Before the owner of the giant palm left, he had used Dan Kai's unique telepathic method to tell him to leave Ning Yu and the red flying sword, and that he could kill the rest. As for the red flying sword, it had been sealed by him, and was no longer in danger. Moreover, the owner of the giant palm had quietly injected a terrifying amount of vitality into his body, causing his strength to soar instantly. At this moment, Supreme Bone's combat power had increased by several times. Bang! Sure enough, after his strength had increased, Supreme Bone sent Jean B.A. flying with a punch. Fart! Fresh blood spurted out, and Jean B.A.'s pupils shrank in fear. Your strength, how can it be so strong? Jean B.A. could not understand how Supreme Bone's strength had increased so much. One should know that the secret technique he used consumed his life as the price. That attack just now had consumed a full 10 years of his life. The punch that was exchanged for 10 years of his life had been easily countered by Supreme Bone, and he himself had been seriously injured. If it was not for Jean B.A.'s strong psychological endurance, he would have been scared silly on the spot. Jean B.A., I've always wanted to kill you, but you have secrets on you, so the higher-ups wouldn't let me. Now, I can finally get my wish. After succeeding in one move, Supreme Bone did not continue to attack. Instead, he said, don't worry, I won't kill you immediately. Instead, I'll slowly torture you. I'll only kill you when I've tortured you enough. Fart. Want to kill me? Even if I die, I'll drag someone down with me. Jean B.A. spat out a mouthful of saliva and said coldly, at most, we'll perish together. Perish together? I'm so scared. Supreme Bone patted his chest and said, the entire area has been set up with a forbidden formation by the experts in Dan Kai. It's impossible for you to self-destruct. Supreme Bone, don't you think you're being a little too long-winded? Suddenly, an indifferent voice rang out. Supreme Bone turned his head when he heard this. He saw Ning Yu holding the red demon sword, walking toward him step by step. Stop pretending to be mysterious. Supreme Bone said coldly, in Myriad Bone Cave, I am the absolute ruler. Even if I stand here and let you hit me, there's nothing you can do. Fart. However, before Supreme Bone's voice faded, his mouth opened wide and he suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. You. Chapter 1285. Supreme Ba Li. Kai Kai. As soon as Supreme Bone fell, his body rapidly shriveled and soon turned into nothingness. Devour. After the red demon sword pierced through Supreme Bone's heart, a powerful devouring force suddenly erupted and completely devoured Supreme Bone. What should we do next? Ningyu said in a low voice. There was a very important reason why the red demon sword could kill Supreme Bone so easily. After this period of hard work, the sapling had completely refined the contents of the sacrificial altar, and its strength had increased by leaps and bounds. In the past, the sapling's battle prowess was only at the peak of the 9th grade human supreme. But after refining the contents of the sacrificial altar, the sapling's battle prowess was close to that of a half-step Earth Supreme. Supreme Bone was only a Yuan Qi doppelganger. With the cultivation of a peak of the 9th grade human supreme, it was naturally unable to block the sapling's attack. Leave the myriad bone cave as soon as possible. I can feel a large group of experts approaching. After refining the contents of the sacrificial altar, the sapling did not become arrogant. Because its keen senses had sensed something unusual. It had also sensed the giant palm that had appeared earlier, causing its heart to tremble. All right, let's go now. Ningyu was not an indecisive person. After all, his goal in entering the myriad bone cave was to rescue the Dark Emperor. Now that he had achieved his goal, Ningyu naturally did not want to stay here any longer. Don't rush. You guys retreat first. The sapling controlled the red demon sword, which floated in mid-air. It said in a low voice, "There are restrictions all around. Let me break them." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Without another word, Ningyu immediately retreated with the Dark Emperor and Zhon Ba to the edge of the secret chamber. Whoosh. At this moment, the sapling controlled the red demon sword and suddenly stabbed out. The red demon sword stabbed towards the original exit of the secret chamber. Rumble. Before the red demon sword could reach the exit, a transparent barrier rose around the entire secret chamber. Break. The sapling forced out a drop of liquid from its body and wrapped it around the red demon sword. It then controlled the red demon sword to slash at the barrier. Crack. The barrier immediately shattered, revealing a huge gap. Let's go. The sapling controlled the red demon sword and left the secret chamber first. Behind the sapling, Ningyu, the Dark Emperor, and Zhon Ba all increased their speed and instantly left the secret room. Supreme Bone's doppelganger has been destroyed. How can I break it? Outside the secret chamber, Ningyu stopped in front of the cage at the corner and murmured. The sapling had said that as long as he could save the martial artists in the cage, it would help him once. In the past, Ningyu did not care about this. However, when he discovered that the sapling possessed a strong combat power, he felt the need to rescue the martial artists in the cage. Catcher. Before Ningyu could finish his sentence, the red demon sword circled in mid-air and slashed at the mist within the cage. Take him and escape at full speed. The red demon sword suddenly landed in Ningyu's hand. At the same time, the sapling's voice rang in Ningyu's ears. At most 3 minutes, those experts will arrive at the myriad bone cave. When Ningyu heard that someone was coming, he did not care about anything else. He grabbed the cultivator in the cage and pushed off the ground, quickly dashing out. Rustle. At the same time, in a dense forest not far from the myriad bone cave, numerous figures rapidly streaked across the sky. The target of these people was the myriad bone cave. Fart. However, the grey-robed elder at the front suddenly spat out a large mouthful of blood, causing the figures to instantly stop. Venerable Ba Li, what's wrong? Seeing the elder spit out blood, everyone revealed shocked gazes. One must know that amongst them, Venerable Ba Li had the highest cultivation and was the strongest. Earth Supreme. Venerable Ba Li was a Grade 1 Earth Supreme. He was the person in charge of this trip to the myriad bone cave. Speed up. The array I set up in the depths of the myriad bone cave has been broken. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Venerable Ba Li said, "This time, no matter what, we must find that thing, no matter the cost." What? The array set up by Venerable Ba Li has been broken? How is that possible? Could it be that the other party has an Earth Supreme expert? Hearing Venerable Ba Li's words, everyone looked at each other in shock. One must know that amongst the pill puppet, not only did Venerable B.A. Lee have a high cultivation, his attainments in arrays were also extremely profound. In terms of arrays, even some middle-rank Earth sovereigns were far from being as formidable as Venerable B.A. Lee. To be able to break the array set up by Venerable B.A. Lee meant that the other party had a middle-rank Earth sovereign. Thinking of a middle-rank Earth sovereign, these people slightly retreated. Their formation was huge. Aside from Venerable B.A. Lee, there were also quite a few half-step Earth sovereigns and several pinnacle 9th grade Earth sovereigns. However, with so many of them together, they still weren't a match for a middle-rank Earth sovereign. Boom! Venerable B.A. Lee heavily stomped his right foot on the ground and coldly said, "What are you panicking for? The array in the depths of the Myriad Bone Cave was set up by me from afar. Its power is only 1/10 of its peak. It's nothing much if the other party can break it." The other party took so long to kill Venerable Bone's clone. From this, we can see that there are no middle-rank Earth sovereigns among them. According to my observations, the strongest among them is at most a half-step Earth sovereign. With so many of us working together, what's there to be afraid of? As he spoke, Venerable B.A. Lee's gaze swept across everyone. Every pill puppet that was stared at by Venerable B.A. Lee subconsciously lowered their heads. Thinking about it, everyone felt that Venerable B.A. Lee's words made sense. With so many of them working together, they could even contend against a pinnacle 1st grade Earth sovereign. There was nothing for them to fear. Those who cower will be killed. Leaving those words behind, Venerable B.A. Lee waved his hands and tore through the void. Seeing Venerable B.A. Lee leave, the remaining people looked at each other. Whoosh! Venerable B.A. Lee was a supreme expert among the pill puppets. His request couldn't be ignored. Although they were afraid, they still had to go to the Myriad Bone Cave. Their speed was extremely fast. A 3-minute journey was forcibly shortened to a minute. "All of you, guard this place. Don't let a single bird escape." In front of the Myriad Bone Cave, Venerable B.A. Lee pointed at a few pinnacle 9th grade Earth sovereigns and said, "The rest, follow me into the Myriad Bone Cave." Venerable B.A. Lee's group had a powerful lineup. Pinnacle 9th grade Earth sovereigns, half-step Earth sovereigns, and Earth sovereigns were all present. Damn it! As they passed through the first and second layers of the Myriad Bone Cave, Venerable B.A. Lee was so angry that his teeth itched. The Myriad Bone Cave was the sacred cultivation ground of the pill puppets. Now that it was destroyed, it pained him greatly. Very quickly, Venerable B.A. Lee and the others arrived at the deepest part of the Myriad Bone Cave. Swish! Standing in front of the secret chamber in the deepest part, Venerable B.A. Lee's face completely darkened. Crack! His fists were clenched so tightly that crackling sounds could be heard. He was exceptionally furious. They were a step too late. Even though they had hurried with all their might, they were still a step too late. Since Venerable B.A. Lee did not speak, the other pill puppets did not dare to make a sound. Chase. Chapter 1286. Chapter 1286. Chapter 1286. Three Rock Caves. The Three Rock Mountain was located at the border between the Dan Cheng continent and the Xianyu continent. It was a few hundred miles long, and demonic beasts roamed the mountain. If one was careless, they would become food for a powerful demonic beast. Shaw shaw shaw. In the depths of Three Rock Mountain, 4 figures quickly shot past. They rushed forward at an extremely shocking speed. After running for dozens of minutes, the 4 figures finally stopped. Ningyu, Dark Emperor, Battle Tyrant, the Blood Demon Venerable. Looking carefully, these 4 cultivators were none other than Ningyu and the others. After leaving the 10,000 Bone Cave, Ningyu and the others rushed without stopping. They did not dare to linger around the 10,000 Bone Cave. Blood Demon Venerable, you said that the thing is in the Three Rock Mountain. Looking around, Ningyu frowned slightly and said, "Where exactly is it? Bring us there." Upon hearing Ningyu's words, the Blood Demon Supremacy's cloudy eyes flickered. With the help of the sapling, the Blood Demon Venerable had already recovered 10 to 20% of his strength, reaching the pinnacle of the 9th grade Sovereign Realm. The Blood Demon Venerable knew very well what was hidden within the Red Demon Sword, so he did not dare to act rashly. After pondering for a moment, the Blood Demon Venerable answered, in the deepest part of the Three-Stone Mountain, there is a three-stone cave. That thing is inside the three-stone cave. Back then, the blood demon Venerable had obtained a small piece of the World Tree's branch, but unexpectedly, the news leaked out and was discovered by Dan Kai. The World Tree had a fatal restraining effect on the pill centipede, so the higher-ups of the pill centipede issued a wanted order. They had to find that small branch no matter what. Fortunately, the blood demon Venerable had hidden the World Tree branch in the three-stone cave and used a secret technique to seal all of his memories in his sea of consciousness. As long as Dan Ling dared to carry on the memory devouring to him, he would make the memories in the sea of consciousness all explode, so that Dan Ling could no longer find the world branch trunk. Fortunately, this method allowed the blood demon Venerable to survive. Otherwise, the blood demon Venerable would have long been blasted into dregs. Let's go to the Three-Rock Cave. Ning, you didn't want to waste time here. What if the experts from the pill furnace caught up to him? On the way to escape, Ning Yu communicated with the sapling. The sapling had personally admitted that there was a powerful first-grade Earth Sovereign in the pellet pond, and he wasn't his opponent. Thus, he had to obtain the other branch, or he wouldn't be able to avoid this calamity. Ning Yu understood the gravity of the situation. He stomped on the ground, intending to head towards the three-stone cave. Wait. However, before Ning Yu could take more than a few steps, the blood demon Venerable said in a deep voice, "There are 3 powerful demonic beasts in the three-stone caves. With our current combat power, we will only be sending ourselves to our deaths if we go over." 3 powerful beasts? Ning Yu was slightly startled. What are their cultivation levels? Shisho, 2 half-step Earth Sovereigns and 1 first-grade Earth Sovereign, said blood demon Venerable. I can't believe it. Ning Yu felt a lingering fear. If it wasn't for the timely reminder from the blood demon Venerable, their arrival at the three-stone cave would have been no different from courting death. Although the sapling was powerful, its strength was only equivalent to a half-step Earth Sovereign. It wasn't a match for a first-grade Earth Sovereign. Not to mention Zhong Ba and the Dark Emperor. The 2 of them had yet to fully recover, so their combat power was negligible. I might have a way to lure the 3 stone beasts away from the three-stone cave. Zhong Ba said after a brief ponder. You have a way. What way? Ning Yu immediately said. If they could lure the stone beasts away, they would have a high chance of obtaining the world branch in the three-stone cave. At that time, the sapling would be able to refine it, and its strength would definitely increase by several levels. It wouldn't be helpless if it encountered the experts in the pellet pond, and it might even be able to kill all of them. Anyway, don't worry about it. Leave the 3 demonic beasts to me when we reach the three-stone cave. Zhong Ba didn't seem to want to talk about this matter. Since Zhong Ba didn't want to talk about it, Ning Yu didn't continue asking. After all, everyone had their own secrets. If the other party didn't want to talk about it, it would be embarrassing to ask. Could it be that you are? Zhong Ba's words didn't affect Ning Yu, but the blood demon Venerable narrowed his eyes when he heard it. The most important thing now is not to guess my identity, but to quickly find the three-stone cave. I'll help you guys lure the stone beasts away. Although Zhong Ba had no idea what attracted Ning Yu's group in the three-stone cave, he knew that they couldn't stay here for long. Zhong Ba had tasted the means of the pellet pond. If it went as he expected, the experts of the pellet pond would definitely catch up to them soon. If they didn't work hard now, they might not have the chance later. Let's go. The blood demon Venerable naturally knew that the situation was dire. He stomped on the ground and was the first to charge forth. Behind him, Ning Yu, Zhong Ba and the Dark Emperor did not dare to delay as they swiftly charged forth. Stop. After flying at full speed for 10 minutes, the blood demon Venerable stopped in a bush and raised his right hand before pressing it down. Everyone, hide your aura. Do not expose yourselves. Rustle. 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 When Ning Yu and the rest rushed over, they stopped beside the blood demon Venerable and executed a secret technique to conceal their aura. That's the three-stone cave. The blood demon Venerable carefully pushed the bush aside and pointed. The 2 demonic beasts at the entrance are the stone beasts. Hearing his words, Ning Yu and the rest looked in the direction that the blood demon Venerable was pointing at. Not far from Ning Yu's group, there was a massive cave entrance. The cave entrance was huge, and it could accommodate hundreds and thousands of people. There were two massive demonic beasts lying on the two sides of the cave entrance. Those two demonic beasts were unique with their brown skin. If one didn't look closely, they would definitely think that they were two stones. Quasi-Earth Sovereign Realm. Ningyu's face turned grave. Although the two stone beasts had concealed their aura, Ningyu's keen senses could tell that their cultivation had reached the Quasi-Earth Sovereign Realm. Sapling, if you go all out, can you kill those two stone beasts? Ningyu started to communicate with the sapling to determine the strength of those two stone beasts. It's not impossible, but it will take a long time and consume a lot of energy. The sapling did not immediately answer Ningyu, but replied after a brief pondering. Not only were the stone beasts tough, but they could also regenerate. Unless a powerful attack was used to shatter their heads, they would be able to recover very quickly. Hearing the sapling's reply, Ningyu took a deep glance at the blood demon Venerable. The two stone beasts at the entrance were already terrifying, so the first-grade Earth Sovereign Realm stone beast must be even more terrifying. Facing such a powerful formation, the blood demon Venerable could still place the branch of the world tree inside. One could only imagine how terrifying the blood demon Venerable was at his peak. Sapling, are you confident in controlling the blood demon Venerable? Ningyu asked in a low voice. He was a little worried. Chapter 1287. Chapter 1287. Chapter 1287. Play dead. Don't worry, the blood demon Venerable won't be able to do anything. The sapling replied, think of a way to lure the stone beasts away as soon as possible. I can sense that the world tree branch in the 3 stone caves is very useful to me. If I refine it, I'll possess the strength of a first-grade Earth Supreme. The strongest stone beast is in the depths of the cave. I have to find a way to lure it out. The corner of Blood Demon Venerable's eyes unconsciously twitched as he said, otherwise, even if Jean-Ba can lure away the 2 stone beasts at the entrance, we still won't be able to enter the 3 stone cave. This is indeed troublesome. Ningyu also knew the seriousness of the problem. Jean-Ba was injured, so it was unrealistic for him to lure out the stone beast in the cave. The Dark Emperor's injuries had not recovered yet, so it was not appropriate for him to go. Finally, Ningyu's gaze fell on the Blood Demon Venerable. Although the Blood Demon Venerable had yet to recover to his pinnacle state, his fighting strength had reached the pinnacle 9th grade Sovereign Realm. Seeing that Ningyu was looking at him, the Blood Demon Venerable shifted his gaze left and right. Clearly, he didn't want to face the stone beast. I'll go with you to lure out the stone beasts in Cave 3. Jean-Ba, stay here and wait for an opportunity. Ningyu's tone was unquestionable. This time, we can only succeed. Failure is not an option. All right. The Blood Demon Venerable's eyes flickered, as if he was having an intense mental struggle. Very soon, the Blood Demon Venerable gritted his teeth and said, let's go. Whoosh. With that, the Blood Demon Venerable stomped his feet on the ground and dashed forward. Whoosh. Whoosh. Seeing the Blood Demon Venerable rushing out, Ningyu did not dare to delay and followed closely behind him. As for Jean-Ba, he began to move his body, looking for a suitable position. Am I the only one who can't help? Seeing that everyone was doing their jobs, the Dark Emperor rolled his eyes. His strength was the weakest, so he could help, but he would only be a hindrance. Kill. Ningyu held the red demon sword and slashed out. Immediately, the sky changed color as a sword light as thick as a person's waist blasted towards the stone beast on the left side of the cave. Blood Demon Palm. Blood Demon Venerable waved his hands again and again. In a split second, several palm prints flew out and bombarded the stone beast on the right side of the cave entrance. Bang, bang, bang. The expressions of Ningyu and the Blood Demon Venerable changed at the same time. Their powerful attacks couldn't even break through the stone beast's defense. One had to know that their battle prowess was exceptionally terrifying. If even they couldn't break through the stone beast's defense, one could only imagine how terrifying its defense was. Roar. Roar. The attacks of Ningyu and the Blood Demon Venerable had obviously alarmed the 2 huge stone beasts. They opened their eyes at the same time, opened their mouths wide, and spat out several stones. Ka. Ningyu hurriedly brandished the red demon sword and sliced the rock that the stone beast had spat out into two. Blood Demon Venerable's left and right hands started working, smashing the rocks into pieces. Go. Ningyu knew that it wasn't a long-term solution if this continued. Now that things had come to this, they could only take the risk and attack the depths of the three-stone cave to force the powerful stone beasts out. This was the only way they could hope to obtain the World Tree Branch in the three-stone cave. Where do you think you're going? Just then, something strange happened. Blood Demon Venerable gave up on the stone beasts, clenched his right hand into a fist, and punched at Ningyu. There's something wrong with you. Ningyu instantly stopped, and the red demon sword in his hand stabbed out. Poof! At this moment, the red demon sword was controlled by the sapling. Ningyu was just a puppet that wielded the red demon sword. Impossible, I hid myself so well. How did you discover me? Looking at the red flying sword at his heart, Blood Demon Venerable roared, "One step, just one step, and I can recover to my peak state. I might even be able to improve further. It's all because of you, I'll tear you apart." The Blood Demon Venerable was furious to the extreme. "I hate you. If I had known, I would have waited for you to enter the depths of the three-stone cave before attacking. That way, I could have killed you." Blood Demon Venerable was so angry that his nose was crooked. There was indeed an Earth Supreme stone beast in the depths of the three-stone cave, and he had sealed it. As long as he could use a secret technique to refine the stone beast, he would be able to recover to his peak state very quickly. Now, it was all for naught. "I can't accept this." Blood Demon Venerable's heart had been pierced, but he was still not dead. He continued to roar. "I knew you would have such evil thoughts, so I've been guarding against you." Ningyu withdrew the red demon sword and said calmly, "I wanted to let you go, but you didn't know how to cherish it. Don't blame me for that." Poof! Blood Demon Venerable spat out a mouthful of blood when he heard Ningyu's sarcastic words, and his entire body began to wither. In the short span of a minute, Blood Demon Venerable had turned into a puddle of pus, no longer existing. Roar! At the same time, a deafening roar came from the depths of the cave. Whoosh! Following the deafening roar, the entire three-stone mountain instantly became noisy. Many beasts left their nests and rushed down the mountain. 10,000 beasts gallop. At this moment, the three-stone mountain was bustling with activity, as if tens of thousands of beasts were galloping. Retreat! Before Ningyu could appreciate the grand occasion, the nervous words of the sapling rang out in his mind. Swish! Ningyu chose to believe in the sapling. Without saying a word, he took the red demon sword and ran in the direction of the Dark Emperor. Bang! However, Ningyu had only taken a few steps when he felt his body lighten and was sent flying. Fart! Ningyu spat out a mouthful of blood when he crashed into the huge rock, and his heart sank to the bottom. A massive figure stood at the entrance of the three-stone cave. The cultivation of this massive figure had reached the terrifying first-grade Earth Supreme realm. "Hide your aura, don't make a sound." Suddenly, a voice rang out in Ningyu's ears. "Jean Ba." This voice was obviously Jean Ba risking his life to tell Ningyu. Jean Ba's original intention was to lure the stone beast away, but the stone beast was extremely enraged. Even Jean Ba did not have much confidence. Hearing Jean Ba's words, Ningyu immediately hid his aura and lay inside like a dead man. Thump! The last stone beast to come out was the Stone Beast King. The other two half-step Earth Supreme stone beasts knelt in front of the Stone Beast King with terrified expressions. "I sensed that guy's aura just now. Why did it disappear?" The Stone Beast King looked around and said in a deep voice, "Go and find him. No matter what, you have to find him. Stone King, the person who set you up is right under your feet." One of the stone beasts said. The Stone King lifted his right foot and looked over. "Ha ha ha, good, I finally got rid of this guy." Looking at the Blood Demon Lord, who had been squashed into a meat patty, the Stone King laughed. "You lied to me and trapped me in the three-stone cave. I didn't expect to come out again. Come here." Suddenly, a cold light shot out from the Stone King's eyes and shot straight at Ningyu. Chapter 1288. Chapter 1288. The King of Stone Ningyu's heart skipped a beat when he heard the King of Stone's voice. Ningyu could clearly feel a terrifying aura locking onto him. If he dared to activate his Yuan Qi, he would definitely be killed on the spot. How disloyal. Ningyu wanted to contact the sapling, but found that it had already fallen silent. No matter how hard he tried, there was no response. Dear King of Stone, I mean no harm. It's all because of the blood demon Venerable. I was forced to disturb you by him. Ningyu immediately understood the situation. He quickly got up from the ground and said, I'm only a late-stage 5th grade human supreme, but the blood demon Venerable has the fighting strength of a peak-stage 9th grade human supreme. There's nothing I can do if he's forcing me. Huh! How dare you lie in front of me? The King of Stone's face turned cold. I think you're tired of living. I'm telling the truth. The blood demon Venerable said that as long as I enter the 3 stone caves with him, he will give me half of the world tree branch inside. In order to calm the King of Stone, Ningyu had to use the world tree to stop the King of Stone. What did you say? The world tree? As expected, Ningyu's words worked. The King of Stone picked up Ningyu and said, follow me to the 3 stone caves. Whoosh! Carrying Ningyu, the King of Stone turned around and left in a hurry. You two stay here. Without my permission, don't let anyone or any demonic beasts in. The King of Stone might be big, but he was very meticulous. He didn't even tell his 2 subordinates about the world tree. The first time he tried to get the world tree branch from the blood demon Venerable, he was tricked by the blood demon Venerable. The blood demon Venerable sealed the world tree branch in the 3 stone caves right next to him. He could only stare at the world tree with an itch in his heart. Now that the blood demon Venerable was killed, he felt that his chance had come. He wanted to enter the 3 stone caves again and take the world tree out. What should we do? Outside the 3 stone cave, the Dark Emperor and Jean Ba were flustered. They wanted to save Ningyu, but they lacked the strength to do so. Putting aside the powerful Stone King that had kidnapped Ningyu, the Dark Emperor and the others had no way of dealing with the 2 stone beasts at the entrance of the 3 stone caves. Let's wait for an opportunity to strike. Jean Ba said calmly. Now that the 2 stone beasts were frightened, they would definitely be highly focused. At this time, it would be very difficult to use a secret technique to lure them away. Jean Ba decided to wait. As long as the 2 stone beasts were distracted, he would immediately attack. Sigh, that's the only way. With a light sigh, the Dark Emperor muttered, Ningyu should not be in danger for the time being. I need to raise my strength as soon as possible. Jean Ba, protect me. I'm going to break through to 5th grade human supreme. The Dark Emperor seemed to have made up his mind as he said in a deep voice. What? Are you kidding me? Hearing the Dark Emperor's words, Jean Ba was shocked. You are only an early 4th grade human supreme. How can you break through to 5th grade human supreme in such a short time? Furthermore, even if you manage to reach the 5th grade sovereign realm, you still won't be able to save Ningyu. Since the Stone King did not kill Ningyu immediately, it means that Ningyu is not in danger for the time being. All we need to do is wait. I'll find a way to contact Ningyu. Biting his lips, the Dark Emperor forced out a drop of blood essence and used a secret technique to contact Ningyu. Buzz. At the same time, in the 3 stone caves, Ningyu's expression changed slightly. I'm fine. Don't act recklessly. Ningyu cautiously told the Dark Emperor not to act recklessly. What are you doing? However, Ningyu's subtle movement did not escape the Stone King's eyes. Don't play any tricks. In the 3 stone caves, I am the absolute ruler. The Stone King said proudly. Then why did you fall for the blood demon Venerable's trap? Ningyu rolled his eyes and mumbled. The blood demon Venerable is cunning. He used the world tree as bait. Otherwise, how could I have fallen for it? You don't know how important the world tree is to us stone beasts. I know. Ningyu said, stone beasts are born with huge bodies and can't shrink. If you can refine the branches of the world tree, not only will your strength have a qualitative improvement, but you can also transform into a human form. There are 3 ways for stone beasts to take human form. First, reach the Sky Supreme level. Second, consume the transformation fruit. Third, swallow the world tree. Oh, you know a lot. The Stone King raised his eyebrows. I do know a lot. I even know how to take out the sealed branch. Ningyu continued. What? You can break the seal? The Stone King released his aura and said coldly, if you can help me break the seal, I will give you a small piece. Thank you, Stone Monarch. Ningyu was overjoyed and immediately said with gratitude. Although he said that, Ningyu didn't think so. Stone beasts were violent by nature. Ningyu knew why the Stone King didn't kill him. If he was right, the Stone King wanted to use him as an experiment to see how to break the seal left by the blood demon Venerable. Since the Stone King wanted the branch, Ningyu might as well pretend to be courteous. Let's go. The branch is sealed in the deepest part of the 3 stone caves. The Stone King grabbed Ningyu's shoulder and dashed into the depths of the cave. Both Ningyu and the King of the Stone Nation had their own plans. The King of the Stone Nation wanted to use Ningyu to break the seal and take the branch of the World Tree. Ningyu thought the same and took the branch at the critical moment. Let's go. Soon, Ningyu followed the Stone King to the deepest part of the 3 stone caves. Seeing the location where the tree branch of the world was sealed, Ningyu opened his mouth slightly and cursed. Lava. The place where the branch was surrounded by lava. It wasn't ordinary lava. It could even melt a royal rank flying sword. Help me break the seal, the Stone King said. Gulp. Ningyu swallowed. Stone King, I'm only a late-stage 5th grade human supreme. I'll be severely injured if I come in contact with the lava. I know this lava very well. The Stone King patted his chest. The lava will recede every hour. That's the best time for you to break the seal. I want to know how much time you can give me. Ningyu hesitated. 3 minutes. The Stone King said. I can't break the seal in 3 minutes. Ningyu said bluntly, I can only understand the structure of the seal in 3 minutes. I don't have time to break it. We have plenty of time. If the first time doesn't work, we can try the second time. If the second time doesn't work, we can try the third time. Chapter 1289. The sealing formation all right. Ningyu nodded. As the saying went, one had to lower one's head. That was Ningyu's current state. The King of Stones was a 1st grade Earth Supreme. He could kill Chen Fan with a wave of his hand. Ningyu had to be careful not to offend the King of Stones. Drip. Time was ticking away. There was still half an hour before the lava receded. During this half an hour, Ningyu sat cross-legged and began to circulate a spell to absorb the surrounding primordial chi to replenish his body. The temperature of the lava was extremely high. Ningyu didn't want to be roasted the first time he entered. According to Ningyu's observation, the temperature of the tree branch was still high even though the lava would recede. He had to enter at his peak state. Otherwise, he might die here. Sapling, how confident are you in breaking the seal? Ningyu asked the sapling. The formation that sealed the tree branch was set up by the blood demon supremacy years ago. Ningyu couldn't break it. I need to wait and see. I'm not sure. The sapling didn't give a definite answer. After all, the blood demon supremacy was extremely powerful at his peak. The fact that the formation he set up could even seal the stone beast was enough to show how powerful it was. I can't believe it. If it wasn't for the stone beast, Ningyu would have cursed out loud. The sapling was the main force in breaking the formation. If he wasn't confident, he was doomed to die here. Don't worry. The sapling knew what Ningyu was thinking. I was confident in breaking the formation, but the formation has changed after being eroded by the lava for years. I need to wait and see. All right. Ningyu was helpless. Now that things had come to this, he had no choice but to believe in the sapling. Whoosh. Half an hour passed in the blink of an eye. Just as the King of Stones said, the lava would recede every hour. The lava around the sealing formation began to recede in an orderly manner. Hurry up, you only have 3 minutes. The King of the Stone Nation kicked Ningyu's butt and said in a low voice, you must figure out the structure of the array this time, and try your best to break it next time. Damn it. Ningyu almost vomited blood after being kicked by the King of the Stone Nation. The Corpse King's body was so huge, his kick was full of strength. Although the king of the Stone Nation didn't use his full strength, he still managed to kick Ningyu far away, almost causing him to fall into the lava. Stop! At the critical moment, Ningyu hurriedly drew out the red demon sword and slashed out a beam of sword radiance. He borrowed the force of the sword to forcefully stop himself in mid-air. Ningyu's expression was ugly as he looked at the retreating lava in front of him. Ningyu really wanted to turn around and ask the king of the Stone Kingdom, "Didn't you say 3 minutes? Why hasn't the lava completely receded after 30 seconds?" Now that the lava had not completely receded, Ningyu didn't dare to take the risk. If he was contaminated by the lava, he would be done for. It will take a minute for the lava to completely recede, and it will take another minute for it to surge up. Ningyu calculated in his mind. He didn't know it before, but now that he did, he was shocked. At the very most, he only had 1 minute left. Even a master of array formations would have a hard time understanding the ceiling array in 1 minute and trying to break it. Now's the time. Ningyu's eyes were fixed on the lava. When the lava receded, his figure flashed and he quickly flew to the front of the ceiling array. Tree sapling, familiarize yourself with the array. Ningyu pretended to observe the array, but in his mind, he sent a voice transmission to the tree sapling. The tree sapling was the main force in breaking the array, and Ningyu was just a distraction to distract the king of the Stone Nation. Whoosh! To make it look real, Ningyu split a few strands of soul power to probe around the ceiling array. Ningyu's brows relaxed and furrowed as if he had encountered a difficult problem. Time's up. While Ningyu was busy probing the ceiling array, the king of the Stone Kingdom yelled, "Come out now, or the lava will cook you." Whoosh! Hearing the king of the Stone Kingdom's call, Ningyu flew back without hesitation. "How is it?" The king of the Stone Kingdom came to Ningyu and asked as soon as he landed. "It's not looking good. The ceiling array has changed. I need more time." Shaking his head, Ningyu said, "After a minute of exploration, I've learned a little bit. I believe I can find a way to break the seal if I go in a few more times. We have plenty of time," the king of the Stone Kingdom said. In fact, the king of the Stone Kingdom knew something about the ceiling array. The king of the Stone Kingdom knew that something had changed in the ceiling array. If Ningyu tried to hide it or couldn't tell that something had changed, the king of the Stone Kingdom would kill him without hesitation. Since Ningyu saw something and didn't hide it, it meant that Ningyu had some tricks up his sleeve. The king of the Stone Kingdom didn't dare to break the ceiling array himself, so Ningyu was the best choice. Phew! Ningyu wiped the sweat off his forehead and let out a long breath. The king of the Stone Kingdom gave him so much pressure that he wanted to kneel down. If it weren't for his willpower, Ningyu would have knelt down on the spot and become the king of the Stone Kingdom's prisoner. "Sapling, what did you find?" After calming down, Ningyu began to communicate with the sapling carefully. The king of the Stone Kingdom was powerful. If he wasn't careful, he could expose the sapling. Once the sapling was exposed, the consequences would be unimaginable. That was why Ningyu was very careful. "I can break the ceiling array, but I need someone to help me block the lava for a few minutes." The sapling did not answer Ningyu's question right away. Instead, it pondered for a moment and said, "Although the seal formation has mutated, I'm connected to the world tree branch inside. I can work with it from the inside and the outside to force an opening in the formation." "What's the success rate?" Ningyu didn't want to take the risk. He needed 100% chance. "I'll do it next time. I have a 50% chance." The sapling said, "If I communicate with the branch of the world inside the ceiling array, I'll have a 60% chance, or even a 100% chance." "Okay, wait for a few more hours. You can do it when you're 100% sure," Ningyu said. "No problem." After that, the sapling fell silent, as if it was thinking about what to do next. Whoosh! Another hour passed in the blink of an eye. Whoosh! This time, Ningyu was smarter. Before the king of the Stone Kingdom kicked him, he flew toward the ceiling array. "That's a fast runner." Seeing Ningyu's movement, the king of the Stone Kingdom rolled his eyes and murmured, "As long as you help me break the ceiling array, I'll get the branch of the world as soon as possible." The king of the Stone Kingdom was very confident. In order to get the branch of the world inside the ceiling array, He had put in a lot of effort and consumed a lot of energy. For the king of the Stone Kingdom, he could only succeed. Because he had succeeded. He had refined the branch of the world, turned into a human, and improved his cultivation. He had failed. Chapter 1290. Lava Beast Sapling, watch carefully this time. Ningyu transmitted his voice to the sapling as he floated in the air. No problem. Compared to Ningyu, the sapling was more eager to break the seal and obtain the world branch inside. The sapling was born from the world branch. As long as it could devour the world branch inside the seal, the sapling's battle strength would reach the first-grade Earth Supreme level. At that time, Ningyu wouldn't have to be so afraid of the king of the Stone Nation. Let's go. A minute later, Ningyu's figure flashed and instantly arrived in front of the sealing array. The task of exploring the sealing formation was handed over to the sapling. As for Ningyu, he carefully approached the lava with his soul power. For some reason, a trace of uneasiness rose in Ningyu's heart this time and last time. The uneasiness grew stronger and stronger, to the point that Ningyu had to find out what was going on. Kai. As soon as Ningyu's soul power came into contact with the lava, it was swallowed up by the lava. Damn it. Ningyu's face darkened. He did not find out what was going on in the lava, but he lost a bit of his soul power. I don't believe it. Gritting his teeth, Ningyu began to contact the law of space, trying to get it to go with him. Buzz. However, no matter how hard Ningyu tried, the law of space would not leave the storage ring. It was as if there was something in the lava that the law of space was afraid of. Right at this moment, the retreating lava began to return and approached Ningyu. Ningyu's expression changed and he flew back. With Ningyu's current strength, he would be dead if he faced the lava head-on. What did you find? Just like last time, the King of Stones came to Ningyu and said in a low voice. I have a 50% chance of breaking the seal, but I need you to help me block the lava. Ningyu communicated with the sapling for a while before saying, it's too difficult to break the formation in a minute. You have to buy me at least 5 minutes. In fact, the sapling was 90% sure that it could break the seal. All it needed was for the Stone King to resist the lava for 3 minutes. However, Ningyu was not stupid enough to tell the King of the Stone Nation everything. He had a backup plan in order to be safe. Otherwise, he wouldn't even know how he died. No problem. Next time, you can go and break the formation. Although Ningyu said he was only 50% sure, the King of the Stone Nation was still excited. The King of the Stone Nation only had a 10% chance of winning. Now that he had a 50% chance, he could take the risk. Moreover, even the King of the Stone Nation was afraid of the existence at the bottom of the lava. Drip. Drip. In the blink of an eye, an hour had passed. When the lava completely retreated, Ningyu's figure burst out and arrived in front of the sealing array formation. He waved his hands repeatedly, and suddenly, several fist lights appeared, bombarding the sealing formation. Under Ningyu's powerful attack, the seal shook a little. Ningyu used up the 1 minute. Seeing that the lava was about to return, Ningyu shouted, King of the Stone Nation, I'm at the critical moment of breaking the formation. You must block the lava for 5 minutes. No problem. The King of the Stone Nation opened its mouth and several stones flew out, piling up around Ningyu. Whoosh. When the molten lava collided with the rocks were immediately blasted away. You really do have some skill. Looking at the stones around him, Ningyu said to the sapling, break the formation as soon as possible. I'll distract the King of the Stone Nation so that he doesn't know you're breaking the formation. While speaking, Ningyu exerted his movement technique to the extreme, moving back and forth around the sealing array formation. Inside the three-stone cave, the King of the Stone Nation stared at Ningyu, fearing that Ningyu would play some tricks. With Ningyu distracting the King of the Stone Nation, the sapling turned into a shadow and began to hit the bottom of the seal. Boom! Every time the sapling hit the seal, the tree branch inside the formation would resonate. The sapling hit the seal from the outside, and the tree branch inside the formation from the inside. It's working. Because the formation was shaking, the King of the Stone Nation did not notice the sapling. The King of the Stone Nation was waiting. As soon as he noticed that the seal was broken, He would take action and take the tree branch. The stones that the king of the stone nation spat out were his most powerful technique, the scattered stones array. With so many stones, the array could shrink and expand, and it was extremely powerful. Crack. As the sapling continued to hit the seal, 3 minutes later, a small gap appeared in the seal. Whoosh. The tree branch of the world sprang out from the gap. Scattered stones array, shrink. Seeing that the seal was broken, the king of the stone nation was overjoyed and immediately controlled the scattered stones array to shrink. However, the king of the stone nation had miscalculated this time. How could the sapling allow the stone king to take away the branch of the world tree that it had spent so much effort to break open? Crack. Crack. In the next instant, the sapling extended a branch and wrapped the tree branch in front of it. The branch exerted force and the tree branch merged into its body. What? The sudden change made the king of the stone nation's expression change. The king of the stone nation's expression changed. It was not anger, but ecstasy. The king of the stone nation was very sensitive to the tree branch of the world. Naturally, he could tell that the sapling was the tree branch of the world and that it was full of vitality. The tree branch inside the seal had almost lost all of its vitality. It was just a withered branch. The sapling in front of him not only had a strong vitality, but it could also stretch freely. Scattered stones array. The king of the stone nation's eyes widened. He kept pushing the scattered stones array. Oh no, I have to find a way to leave. Seeing that the space around them was getting smaller and smaller, Ningyu's face darkened. He said, "Sapling, now that you've taken the tree branch, break the space and let's get out of here. I can't leave now. Give me an hour. As long as I completely merge with the tree branch, I'll be able to go anywhere in the world." The sapling said proudly. Damn. Ningyu's nose was crooked with anger. You got all the benefits, and now I have to suffer. Ningyu knew how terrifying the scattered stones array was. It could even block the lava, let alone him. As long as he was squeezed by the scattered stones array, he would be crushed into pieces. Whoosh. Right at this moment, the situation changed. A giant head emerged from the bottom of the lava. It opened its mouth and swallowed the scattered stones array. Giant lava beast, how dare you touch my man? Seeing that Ningyu was swallowed by the giant lava beast, the king of the stone nation was enraged. If you know what's good for you, give him back now, or I'll destroy your foundation. The king of the stone nation was infuriated. How could he not be angry that his man had flown away? I'll give him back in an hour. A deep voice came from the giant lava beast's mouth. Then, the giant lava beast's giant head sank into the lava again. I'm so angry. The king of the stone nation was furious. He had worked so hard and was about to get the tree branch, but the giant lava beast had taken it away. Roar. Chapter 1291. Refinement. It's not that easy to refine an entire world tree sapling. The King of Stones calmed down quickly. The King of Stones knew very well how terrifying the world tree was. It would be very difficult for the lava beast to refine an entire world tree sapling. It might even die. I'll let you test the waters for me. The King of Stones' expression was extremely cold. This world tree is mine. No one can take it away from me. At the same time, in the lava beast's stomach, Ningyu was still struggling. Fortunately, the loose stone array was powerful and did not shatter. Otherwise, with Ningyu's current strength, he would have been crushed into pieces. The sapling is refining the world tree branch. I can only rely on myself. Ningyu's eyes darted around, trying to think of a solution. Based on the lava beast's refining speed, the loose stone array would only last 10 minutes at most. After 10 minutes, it would completely shatter. Once the loose stone array broke, Ningyu would have to face the lava beast and the lava head-on. Whoosh, whoosh. However, Ningyu's guess was obviously wrong. In just a minute, the loose stone array collapsed. Every piece of rock was burnt into powder by the scorching heat. The temperature inside the lava beast was even higher than the lava. Originally, the loose stone array could last 10 minutes in the lava, but now it could only last for a minute. Elixir cauldron. At this critical moment, Ningyu took out the elixir cauldron. Ningyu leaped into the cauldron. The elixir cauldron was ranked 30th on the elixir cauldron heaven roll. It was made of a special material and should be able to block the lava beast for a while. Bang! 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 Inside the elixir cauldron, Ningyu looked anxious. Things had gone beyond his expectations. Although the elixir cauldron was made of a special material, it could conduct heat. In other words, as the lava beast kept attacking, the temperature inside the elixir cauldron became higher and higher. Drip! Drip! Beads of sweat rolled down from Ningyu's forehead. In just a few seconds, Ningyu's clothes were drenched in sweat. Kai! Accidentally touching the inner wall of the nihility pill furnace, Ningyu hurriedly withdrew his palm. The temperature of the incorporeal pill furnace was too high, so high that Ningyu could barely hold on. Am I going to die here today? Ningyu was unwilling. He had been reborn and was unwilling to die here. Since he couldn't stay in the nihility pill furnace, Ningyu simply jumped out of the furnace, waved his hands, and began to attack the lava beast. Brat, don't waste your energy. With your lousy skills, don't even think about coming out of my stomach. The lava beast's powerful voice sounded in Ningyu's ears. I haven't eaten a living person in a long time. You're the first in decades. After I refine you appetizer, I will refine that world tree. TSK, I didn't expect to find a world tree sapling after so many years of hiding here. I didn't stay here for so long in vain. The lava beast seemed to be savoring something. Soon, it said coldly, don't struggle, I can give you a quick death. Me. Even if I die, I will make you pay. With a cold snort, Ningyu threw out several punches and palm prints. However, when Ningyu's attack landed on the giant lava beast's body, it was like scratching an itch and did not cause any damage to it at all. I am the lava beast, in this 10,000 feet of lava, I am the absolute ruler. The lava beast opened its mouth and swallowed a large amount of lava, wanting to use the lava to refine Ningyu. Damn it! Ningyu stopped attacking and quickly dodged. Fortunately, Ningyu dodged quickly. Otherwise, he would have died if he was touched by the lava. Ha ha ha, let's see how long you can dodge. The lava beast was not angry when Ningyu dodged the first mouthful of lava. Instead, it laughed and swallowed the second mouthful of lava. Swoosh. Ningyu dodged again. Swoosh. Swoosh. Next, the third, fourth, and even the 10th mouthful of lava were all dodged by Ningyu. However, as the lava beast continued to swallow the lava, Ningyu found that the space he could move in was getting smaller and smaller. In the end, there was only an extremely narrow area. At this moment, as long as the lava beast swallowed another mouthful of lava, Ningyu would have nowhere to hide. Swoosh. The lava beast did not disappoint Ningyu. It opened its mouth and swallowed a mouthful of lava. Mirage armor. At this critical moment, Ningyu took out the mirage armor, trying to resist the erosion of the lava. The mirage armor was a mid-tier emperor armor and had amazing defense. Kai. The lava fell on Ningyu's body and came into contact with the mirage armor. Not bad. The mirage armor was the treasure of the Mirage Rat clan. It was not corroded by the lava. Hey! It actually has such a treasure armor that can expand and contract freely. Not bad, it's mine now. A soft voice could be heard. Then, an arm suddenly appeared and grabbed the mirage armor. Good chance. How could Ningyu waste such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? He immediately took out the red demon sword and slashed at the lava beast's arm. Crack. A crisp sound could be heard. The lava beast's arm was cut off by the red demon sword and fell into the lava. Kai. The arm was separated from the lava beast's body and instantly lost its protection. The temperature of the lava was very high. In an instant, the lava beast's arm was melted. After losing an arm, the lava beast was enraged. It roared, "Kid, how dare you cut off my arm? I will tear you apart." The lava beast was very angry. It did not expect to lose an arm because of its carelessness. Although this arm was not its main arm, losing it would reduce its combat power by at least 10%. Refine. Extremely hot flames suddenly appeared around Ningyu. These flames were special. They were a grade higher than lava and belonged to the lava beast's life flame. The lava beast was a fire attribute. The life flame was the lava beast's strongest trump card. Seeing a ball of flames coming toward him, Ningyu knew that the lava beast was going to go all out. I hope the mirage armor can block it. Ningyu frantically injected the Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness into the mirage armor. He wanted to rely on the mirage armor to block the lava beast's life flame. Even if I don't have this armor, I will still refine you. The lava beast snorted coldly. In order to vent the hatred in its heart, it took out all of its life flame. It wanted to refine Ningyu and get rid of Ningyu. Crack. Under the pressure of the lava beast's life flame, the mirage armor made a cracking sound. It looked like it was about to shatter. Not good. The mirage armor is only a middle-grade emperor weapon. It will not be able to withstand the lava beast's life flame. Ningyu's expression changed. If the mirage armor was a middle-grade emperor weapon, or even a superior-grade emperor weapon, Ningyu would not be worried. Chapter 1292. Chapter 1292. Chapter 1292. 1000 bone fire die. The lava giant pushed its natal flame to the limit, wanting to refine Ningyu as soon as possible. The lava beast's target was the world tree sapling, not Ningyu. It did not want to waste too much time on Ningyu. As long as he could kill and refine Ningyu, he would not think too much about it. What should we do? Seeing that the phantom armor was about to shatter, Ningyu's eyes turned rapidly, and his hair fluttered in the wind. Poochie. At this moment, Ningyu felt a tightness in his chest and spat out a mouthful of blood. Rumble. The blood that Ningyu spat out was dark gold in color. A terrifying aura emanated from Ningyu's body. What? The sudden change not only shocked Ningyu, but also the giant lava beast. Ningyu was already on the verge of collapsing. Why did he suddenly erupt? Inside the lava beast, Ningyu understood his body's condition the best. Under the tremendous pressure, the bloodline of his divine battle body circulated rapidly. A drop of dark golden liquid appeared at his heart and flowed throughout his body. At this moment, Ningyu felt unprecedentedly comfortable. Is this the terrifying part of the war god physique? Slowly closing his eyes, Ningyu tried his best to feel the changes in his body. Last time at the horizontal canyon, in order to kill the corpse puppet, Ningyu had used 100% of his bloodline power. At that time, Ningyu's battle prowess rose from a 5th-grade human supreme to a 9th-grade human supreme, easily defeating the corpse puppet. What Ningyu felt now was similar to that time, but there were still some differences. Ningyu could feel that as the dark golden liquid circulated, the toughness of his body was increasing at a terrifying speed. At the same time, Ningyu's cultivation was also rising rapidly. Late rank 5, peak rank 5, peak rank 5. In just a few seconds, Ningyu's cultivation had skyrocketed to the peak of level 5. Moreover, it was still soaring. Bang! A muffled sound rang out. Ningyu suddenly opened his eyes. At this moment, Ningyu had advanced from the late rank 5 stage to the early rank 6 stage. It's the god of war body. The lava beast turned pale with fright. The war god body had always been known for its ability to challenge those of a higher cultivation level. It was not a problem for him to fight one against many. The war god's body could instantly kill any martial artist of the same rank. The war god physique won't work either. I'll refine you all the same. The lava giant beast madly urged its natal flame, wanting to completely refine Ningyu. Phantom armor, come back. Ningyu took a deep breath and made a bold decision. He retracted the phantom armor. Poochie. As soon as the phantom armor disappeared, Ningyu was bombarded by the lava giant beast's natal flame. Spitting out a large mouthful of blood, Ningyu's body was on the verge of collapsing. After being baptized by the dark golden blood, Ningyu's body was abnormally hard, appearing dark golden. At this time, normal lava had lost its effect on him. Only the lava giant beast's natal flame could pose a threat to him. Ha ha ha, again. With a maniacal laugh, Ningyu opened his chest and continued to withstand the impact of the lava giant beast's natal flame. The lava giant beast was furious. At first, its natal flame could still hurt Ningyu. However, As time went by, it realized that Ningyu's physique was getting stronger and stronger. Body refining. Ningyu was using its natal flame to temper his body. The god of war body was already strong enough, but he was still tempering his body. How much willpower did he need? Lava giant beast, is this all you've got? Curling his lips, Ningyu said, bring out all your natal flames. I want to see if you can refine me completely. Hearing Ningyu's sarcastic words, the lava giant beast's face darkened. Just as Ningyu had said, he did have 2 natal flames. The first one was subdued a long time ago. The second one, he had yet to subdue. Thousand Bone Flame. There were 2 reasons why the lava giant beast came to the 3-stone cave. The first was to obtain the world tree trunk. The second was to refine the 1000 Bone Flame at the bottom of the lava. The 1000 Bone Flame was ranked 29th on the mystic flame list. It was extremely powerful. It was rumored that the 1000 Bone Flame could burn anything. The lava giant beast spent a long time to subdue the 1000 Bone Flame. In other words, the lava giant beast could not control the 1000 Bone Flame well. Sometimes it was obedient, and sometimes it was disobedient. Fight. The lava giant beast gritted its teeth and brought out the 1000 Bone Flame. What? It's the 1000 Bone Flame. Ningyu's face turned ugly and he was shocked. The 1000 Bone Flame was ranked 29th on the mystic flame list. It was even more terrifying than the 1000 Beast Flame. Actually, Ningyu did not know that the lava giant beast had another natal flame. He was just bluffing the lava giant beast. Who would have thought that he would bluff the 1000 Bone Flame? Let me have a taste of the terror of the 1000 Bone Flame. Ningyu took a step forward and tried to resist the 1000 Bone Flame. The ignorant are fearless. Seeing that Ningyu wanted to resist the 1000 Bone Flame, the lava giant beast said coldly. No one knew the terror of the 1000 Bone Flame better than the lava giant beast. In order to subdue the 1000 Bone Flame, the lava giant beast had been tortured many times. Even someone as strong as him was tortured by the 1000 Bone Flame, let alone Ningyu. Even if Ningyu had the war god's body, it would not work. Poochie. As expected, the moment the 1000 Bone Flame wrapped around Ningyu, Ningyu spat out a large mouthful of blood. The 1000 Bone Flame is indeed not simple. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Ningyu continued to resist the 1000 Bone Flame. Puff puff puff. However, with the strength of Ningyu's current body, he obviously could not resist the corrosion of the 1000 Bone Flame. Unless he increased the strength of his body by another level, he would not be able to resist the 1000 Bone Flame. Phantom Armor. Since he could not resist the corrosion of the 1000 Bone Flame, Ningyu simply took out the Phantom Armor and used it to temporarily block the 1000 Bone Flame while he stabilized his body. Swoosh. Suddenly, the wind and clouds changed. A flame darted out from the storage ring and met the 1000 Bone Flame. It's the 1000 Beast Flame. Ningyu's eyes widened, and his face was full of disbelief. The 1000 Beast Flame was ranked 30th on the Mystic Flame list. It was only 1 rank lower than the 1000 Bone Flame. At this moment, Ningyu finally understood. The 1000 Beast Flame and the 1000 Bone Flame were competing for a ranking on the Mystic Flame list. In his previous life, Ningyu faintly heard a rumor. It was said that the 1000 Beast Flame and the 1000 Bone Flame were born in the same place. In the beginning, there was only 1 flame, but in the end, they fought and split into 2. As long as the 1000 Beast Flame and the 1000 Bone Flame could be combined, an extremely terrifying flame would be born. The flame that was born would be able to rank in the top 20 of the Mystic Flame list. Of course, this was only a rumor. Regardless of whether it was the 1000 Beast Flame or the 1000 Bone Flame, they rarely appeared on the mainland. Whoosh! Seeing the 1000 Beast Flame appear, the 1000 Bone Flame immediately gave up on Ningyu and turned to fight the 1000 Beast Flame. The 2 powerful flames collided left and right in the lava beast's body, causing it to sweat profusely and suffer unspeakably. Stop right now. Chapter 1293. Chapter 1293. Chapter 1293 Fusion R. The pain in its body caused the lava beast to let out a hysterical roar. Huala. In order to alleviate the pain coming from its body, The giant lava beast moved left and right, stirring the lava up and down. What happened? The king of the Stone Nation's eyes were fixed on the lava. Seeing the changes in the lava, the Stone King immediately stood up and unleashed his perception, wanting to probe the bottom of the lava. Kai. However, the king of the Stone Nation had obviously forgotten how terrifying the lava was. As soon as his perception got close to the lava, it dissipated between heaven and earth and was completely melted by the lava. Hiss! The king of the Stone Nation gasped, and his face darkened. The Stone King thought that he could take advantage of the turbulence of the lava, but it turned out that he was overthinking and had lost a portion of his perception for nothing. I know, it must be that world tree sapling. Suddenly, the Stone King seemed to have thought of something and laughed wildly. After laughing maniacally, the Stone King calmed down and said, I have to think of a way. If nothing goes wrong, the giant lava beast will rush up from the bottom of the lava soon. I have to find a way to stop it. The giant lava beast possessed the battle prowess of a first-grade Earth Supreme, and its strength could not be underestimated. Without absolute confidence, the king of the Stone Nation would not take the risk. After pondering for a moment, the Stone King said fiercely, we might as well go all the way and kill the giant lava beast with one blow. In the Stone King's eyes, his biggest threat was the lava beast. Once the giant lava beast was taken care of, the rest of the world tree sapling would fall into his hands. Success or failure depends on this. I cannot be careless. The king of the Stone Nation was very careful. He first set up a small formation around him and then paid close attention to the changes in the lava. It's very difficult for the myriad beast flame to fuse with the myriad bone flame. At the same time, at the bottom of the lava, inside the lava beast, Ningyu frowned as he looked at the two flames that were charging at each other, trying to come up with a countermeasure. At this rate, he would be affected by the battle between the two flames sooner or later. Be it the 10,000 beasts flame or the 10,000 bone flame, they were both extremely terrifying flames. The 10,000 beasts flame was still manageable. After all, Ningyu had the 10,000 beasts flame heart. He would not be burned by the 10,000 beasts flame. However, the 10,000 bone flame was different. Its power was even stronger than the 10,000 beast flame. If the 10,000 bone flame targeted him, Ningyu might die in the lava beast's body. I have to think of a way out. Ningyu decided to leave the lava beast's body. He shouted, Lava beast, open your mouth, I want out. Come out quickly. Originally, the giant lava beast had been tortured by the two flames, but when it heard Ningyu's words, its eyes lit up. Go. Ningyu didn't want to stay in the lava beast's body. He leaped up and flew towards the lava beast's throat at full speed. At the same time, Ningyu controlled the myriad beast's flame and left. Ningyu has an idea, and that is to fuse the myriad bestial flame with the myriad bone flame. Now that he had advanced to the initial 6th grade sovereign realm, and the war god's physique was close to perfection, his battle prowess had soared. If he could fuse the myriad bestial flame and the 10,000 bone flame, his strength would soar. At that time, even if he faced a peak 9th grade supreme martial artist, he wouldn't have to fear. Swoosh! Ningyu was the first to jump out of the lava beast's body. As soon as he jumped out, Ningyu summoned the phantom armor and wrapped himself up. This was the bottom of the lava, and there was lava everywhere. Without the protection of the phantom armor, Ningyu definitely wouldn't be able to hold on for long. TSK. Even with the phantom armor, Ningyu still felt the pressure increase. Bean-sized beads of sweat rolled down his forehead. However, Ningyu couldn't be bothered to wipe the sweat off his forehead. He hurriedly shifted his gaze to the other side. There, the 10,000 bone flame and the 10,000 beast flame were fighting. Whoosh! Lava flew everywhere, and the lava in this area was constantly being devoured by the two flames. I heard that the 10,000 bone flame is your natal flame. Ningyu moved away from the lava beast and said, Where did you get the 10,000 bone flame? The 10,000 bone flame was born at the bottom of this lava. I obtained it decades ago, but after decades of refinement, I still haven't completely controlled it. The lava beast seemed to know how terrifying Ningyu was, so it didn't dare to act rashly for the time being. He stared at the two flames, then shifted his gaze to Ningyu and said, if I'm not wrong, that light green flame should be your natal flame. You're right. The 10,000 beast flame is ranked 30th on the mystic flame list. It's now my natal flame. Nodding, Ningyu said, I can control the 10,000 beast flame at will. Hearing Ningyu's words, the lava beast's face turned ugly. Although it was a lava beast and had a high resistance against lava and flames, the 10,000 beast flame was ranked 30th on the mystic flame list. However, the 10,000 beasts flame was ranked 30th on the mystical flame list. Unless his cultivation base increased, he would not be able to withstand the impact of the 10,000 beasts flame. What do you want? The lava beast said in a low voice. What goes around comes around. This year's luck is really bad. At first, the lava beast had suppressed Ningyu to the point of suffocation. Who would have thought that in a short 10 minutes, the lava beast and Ningyu would switch positions? I don't want anything. I just want to make a deal with you, Ningyu said with a wave of his hand. What deal? Although the lava beast was talking to Ningyu, its attention was on the battle between the 10,000 beast flame and the 10,000 bone flame. It was afraid that the two flames would suddenly attack it. If you help me deal with the Stone King, I can guarantee that the 10,000 beast flame won't attack you, Ningyu said. The lava beast's face darkened. No one knew what it was thinking. The current situation was not good for the lava beast. On one hand, the 10,000 bone flame was no longer under the lava beast's control. On the other hand, the lava beast's strength had dropped significantly after the 10,000 beast flame and the 10,000 bone flames battle. At this moment, not to mention the Stone King, the lava beast couldn't even contend against an ordinary pinnacle 9th grade sovereign. No problem. Although it knew that its strength had dropped significantly, the lava beast didn't dare to speak the truth. It had used the lava to swallow Ningyu. If Ningyu knew about its current state, he would definitely not let it go. The only thing it could do now was to agree to Ningyu's request and recover as soon as possible. As long as it could recover, it would be able to use a secret technique to escape. Sizzle. Right at that moment, the battle between the 10,000 beast flame and the 10,000 bone flame came to an end. A crisp sound rang out. The 10,000 beast flame turned around and fled, quickly arriving in front of Ningyu. What's going on? The sudden change made Ningyu's expression change drastically. If the flame of the 10,000 beasts were to be defeated, then he would be doomed for all eternity. Chapter 1294. Chapter 1294. Chapter 1294/something's wrong. Suddenly, Ningyu seemed to have thought of something. With a thought, he took out the flaming heart of 10,000 beasts. The blazing heart of 10,000 beasts was one with the 10,000 beasts flame. When the 10,000 bestial flame heart left the body, the 10,000 bestial flame's combat prowess would decrease by at least 20 to 30%. It would definitely not be a match for the 10,000 bone flame. Buzz. The flame of 10,000 beasts shot out and devoured the flaming heart of 10,000 beasts in the blink of an eye. Rumble. When the two fused, the 10,000 beasts flame became exceptionally violent. Whoosh. In the next moment, the 10,000 beasts flame tore through the void and arrived in front of the 10,000 bone flame. The 10,000 bestial flame transformed into a giant flaming beast and directly swallowed the 10,000 bestial flame. What? This change was clearly out of the lava beast's expectations. Originally, the lava beast had thought that the 10,000 bestial flame was no match for the 10,000 bone flame. But what happened in front of him made him feel like he had been F***ed. Good. Ningyu was stunned at first, but then an ecstatic expression appeared on his face. At this moment, two words appeared in Ningyu's mind. Fusion. The 10,000 bestial flame and the 10,000 bone flame began to fuse. These two kinds of flames ranked very high on the exotic flames list, 30th and 29th respectively. Once they fused successfully, it was highly likely that a terrifying flame that was ranked in the top 20 of the exotic flame list would be born. Good chance. The lava beast was not a fool. It knew that the 10,000 bestial flame was currently fusing with the 10,000 bone flame. At this time, Ningyu would not be able to stimulate the 10,000 bestial flame. In other words, Now was the best time to kill Ningyu. Kill Ningyu and seize control of the myriad beast's flame. Kill. The giant lava beast did not hesitate in the slightest and attacked as soon as it said it would. He swung his huge arm and smashed it towards Ningyu. Voila! As the lava behemoth swung its arm, the surrounding lava burst forth. Phantom armor. Ningyu knew how serious the situation was. He quickly summoned his phantom armor and retreated. Where are you going? Although Ningyu had dodged its first attack, the lava beast was not discouraged. Instead, it attacked again. From the giant lava beast's point of view, although its combat strength was rapidly declining, killing Ningyu was not a problem. War God body. At this critical moment, dark golden blood surged from Ningyu's heart and flowed through his entire body. Ningyu was like a god of war. He clenched his right fist and punched out. You want to fight with me? Hehe, why don't you take a look at yourself in the mirror? Seeing Ningyu overestimating himself and wanting to exchange blows with him, the giant lava beast smirked and said in disdain, "Catcher." In the next moment, a crisp sound rang out. The lava behemoth's entire body flew out and crashed heavily on the ground. Impossible. The lava beast's face paled. It had never imagined that it would lose to Ningyu in terms of strength. He was so strong that even the king of the Stone Nation might not be able to beat him. The giant lava beast was shocked. In other words, the giant lava beast had underestimated the toughness of the war god body and overestimated his current strength. Ningyu, let's talk things out. There's no need to resort to violence. Through this attack, the giant lava beast had already recognized the reality in front of it. It was no match for Ningyu. If they really fought, it would definitely die. Now you want to reconcile? Ningyu took out the red demon sword and said coldly, "It's too late." As soon as he said that, the vital energy under Ningyu's feet wrapped around him and he charged forward. Swoosh. However, Ningyu had only taken 2 or 3 steps when a cold light flashed out from the storage ring on his wrist. The cold light was very fast, and the lava in its path retreated. Soon, the cold light arrived in front of the giant lava beast and expanded in its pupils. World, seeing the cold light, the giant lava beast's eyes widened and it exclaimed, "Poof!" Before the giant lava beast could finish its sentence, the cold light pierced through its forehead and stopped in its body. The giant lava beast stood there like a wooden pillar, its mouth slightly open, and it was speechless for a long time. Whoosh! Not long after, the giant lava beast exploded from its chest. At this moment, the giant lava beast that was a first-grade Earth Supreme had died a horrible death. Sapling. After the giant lava beast exploded, a cold light rushed out and floated in front of Ningyu. Looking at the familiar figure, Ningyu said in surprise, "You have a second branch?" Ningyu clearly remembered that before the sapling merged with the world branch, it only had one branch. After merging with the world branch, the sapling had a second branch. At the same time, the sapling's strength had increased by leaps and bounds. According to Ningyu's speculation, the sapling's current strength should be equivalent to a first-grade Earth Supreme, and it was only a step away from becoming a second-grade Earth Supreme. I was just lucky. The sapling stretched out its second branch and said, "You can't even deal with a trash like the giant lava beast. How are you going to follow me in the future?" Ningyu's face darkened. The sapling was really showing off. However, Ningyu knew that this wasn't the time to talk about this. The most important thing now was to help the myriad bestial flame and myriad bone flame merge. This was the most important thing and there couldn't be any mistakes. What's so difficult about that? Watch me. The sapling stretched out its second branch and wrapped the myriad bestial flame and myriad bone flame in the middle. You know how to do this? Ningyu was surprised. Logically speaking, the sapling had just gained sentience not long ago, so it shouldn't know these things. Of course, I'm going to grow into a world tree in the future. How can I not know these things? The sapling said proudly. Pa. Ningyu couldn't help but knock on the sapling and said, "Speak human language." "Speak human language, my ass. I'm a world tree, I'm speaking tree language." The sapling said, in ancient times, many experts comprehended the Tao under the world tree. They left behind many cultivation techniques. Among them, There was a peerless expert who once merged with a mystic flame. A peerless expert merged with a mystic flame? Ningyu was taken aback. He didn't expect such a thing to happen. Of course, my memory is a little fuzzy. That expert merged with a mystic flame ranked top 10, the sapling said. Alright, you win. Ningyu didn't want to delve into this matter. He was most concerned about whether the myriad bestial flame and myriad bone flame could be merged. Don't worry, leave it to me. Seeing Ningyu's worry, the sapling said, with me around, there won't be any accidents. Kai. The myriad bestial flame was ranked 30th on the mystic flame list, while the myriad bone flame was ranked 29th. It was originally extremely difficult for them to merge, as difficult as ascending to the heavens. However, with the sapling's help, the speed of their merging gradually increased. At this speed, it would take at most 10 minutes to completely merge. Swish swish swish. At the same time, several figures suddenly appeared at the entrance of the 3 stone caves. The leader was an old man dressed in grey. Chapter 1295. Chapter 1295. Chapter 1295. Anger not good, all of them are pill puppet. Not far away from the 3 stone cave, the Dark Emperor and John Ba's expressions changed drastically. With the Dark Emperor and John Ba's keen perception, they could naturally sense the cultivation of Venerable Ba Li and the others. What now? John Ba's eyes flickered as he panicked. If there were only 3 stone beasts, he was confident that he could lure them away and rescue Ningyu. However, a large number of pill refinement realm experts had suddenly appeared, and the weakest amongst them was a pinnacle 9th grade sovereign. There were even many quasi-earth sovereigns amongst them. Let's wait and see. The stone beasts will definitely clash with the pill puppets. We are not in a hurry. The Dark Emperor was unusually calm, so calm that it was a little scary. During the time that Ningyu was trapped, he had been trying to break through, but unfortunately, all his attempts ended in failure. Although he was unable to break through, a lot of information suddenly appeared in the Dark Emperor's mind. The Dark Emperor had a familiar feeling about this information, but he couldn't grasp it or touch it. The additional information in his mind was not entirely a bad thing. At the very least, it made the Dark Emperor less rash. Sigh, now that things have come to this is all we can do. Jean Ba said with a sigh. Rumble. At the same time, Venerable Ba Li said in a deep voice, call your leader out, I have something to ask him. Ka. Venerable Ba Li's performance was very domineering. As he spoke, he unleashed his aura and frantically suppressed the 2 half-step earth sovereign stone beasts. Along the way, Venerable Bali and the others followed the blood demon Venerable's aura. In front of the 3 stone cave, the blood demon Venerable's aura had completely disappeared. With Bali's intelligence, he could naturally guess that the blood demon Venerable was hiding in the Tri-Stone cave. The 2 quasi-earth sovereign realm stone beasts were definitely left behind by the blood demon Venerable. Roar. Being pressured by Venerable Ba Li's powerful aura, the 2 quasi-earth sovereign realm stone beasts emitted crackling noises as they roared towards the sky. Not good. In the depths of the 3 stone cave, the Stone King's expression turned ugly. He was waiting in front of the lava, waiting for the lava behemoth to emerge from the bottom. The sudden change at the entrance of 3 stone cave infuriated him. Whatever, the world tree sapling is more important. With a cold expression, the king of the Stone Nation decided to stay for the time being. Compared to the 2 half-step Earth Supremes, the world tree sapling was more important. The Stone King chose to give up on the 2 stone beasts and continued to move deeper into the cave, setting up a formation. It was very difficult to set up a profound formation, and there was no time for the Stone King to set it up. The formations set up by the Stone King were very simple, so simple that they could be broken with brute force. However, brute force had its limitations. Unless one's strength was greater than the Stone King's, it was impossible to break the formation. Damned lava beast, why isn't it out yet? After setting up several arrays, the Stone King paced back and forth in the depths of the 3 stone cave, looking very nervous. The king of the Stone Nation knew that he didn't have much time left. He had to hurry. Let's fight. Gritting his teeth, The Stone King once again split a portion of his perception to carefully approach the lava. This time, the Stone King's expression was very interesting. It was not because of the powerful heat of the lava, but because the lava seemed to have lost its soul. Despite its high temperature, it was not lethal at all. Could the world tree sapling have devoured the lava beast? The Stone King wondered. The Stone King knew that some powerful branches of the world tree could devour martial artists. What the lava beast had taken was not an ordinary branch of the world tree, but the sapling of the world tree, which had its own consciousness. From this, it could be seen that the giant lava beast was taken care of by the sapling. I'll go in too. The Stone King did not want to wait any longer. He felt that he had to take the risk. It was either win or die. Success or failure depended on this. Splash! The Stone King's enormous body was completely submerged in the lava. Where's the lava beast? The Stone King was slightly taken aback at the center of the lava. In the lava, he did not discover the existence of the giant lava beast. One must know that the giant lava beast was a first-grade Earth Supreme Realm cultivator. Even if Ningyu cultivated for a few more decades, he would not be a match for the lava beast. Could it be in the deepest part? The Stone King did not linger in the middle of the lava. He leaped to the bottom. Ningyu! The Stone King shouted when he saw the figure not far away. How could you still be alive? The Stone King was very confused. Logically speaking, with the lava giant's personality, it would never let Ningyu survive. But Ningyu was alive and well, while the lava beast had disappeared. Suddenly, the Stone King thought of a terrifying possibility. Could it be that Ningyu had killed the lava beast? The more he thought about it, the more likely it seemed. Why can't I be alive? To be honest, Ningyu was also surprised to see the Stone King at the bottom of the lava. But on second thought, Ningyu understood. After all, the Stone King did not want to miss the sapling of the world tree. But Ningyu was not afraid of the Stone King. With the sapling nearby, it was almost impossible for the Stone King to kill him. Humph! Give me the sapling of the world tree and I'll spare your life. The Stone King snorted, not taking Ningyu seriously at all. You want me to give you the sapling of the world tree? Ningyu was dazed at first, then he grabbed the sapling and threw it at the Stone King. Swoosh! The sapling cooperated. It did not do anything but let Ningyu do whatever he wanted. Stop! There must be something wrong. The Stone King did not think he had the charisma to make Ningyu give him the sapling of the world tree. Since Ningyu dared to throw the sapling at him, it meant that he had a trump card. The Stone King opened his mouth and spat out a rock at the sapling. Crack! But the rock did not stop the sapling. It did not even slow down the sapling. In the blink of an eye, the sapling was in front of the Stone King. Smack! One of the branches expanded rapidly and whipped the Stone King's body. The sapling was furious. He was the great world tree, and not just anyone could order him around. Smack! After the first branch was sent out, the sapling sent out a second branch. The two branches whipped at the Stone King from all directions. Although the sapling's body was extremely hard, the sapling was not an ordinary tree. It was the world tree, and its branches were extremely hard. What the hell is this? The Stone King's pupils contracted when the branches hit him. He quickly retreated. But how could the sapling let the Stone King retreat? It swung the branches again and again, making the Stone King dizzy. I'm so angry. Since he could not retreat, the Stone King decided to let go. He swung his huge arm and smashed it towards the sapling, wanting to use this opportunity to break the sapling. Crack! A crisp sound was heard. Chapter 1296. Retreat. The King of Gems was going crazy. He was a Grade 1 Earth Supreme, but now he was so weak. If others saw this, where would he put his face? Let's go. The King of the Stone Nation was not an indecisive monster. He knew that he was no match for the sapling, so he left immediately without saying a word. Whoosh! The King of Gems was a Grade 1 Earth Supreme. If he wanted to retreat, even the sapling would not be able to stop him. However, the sapling did not seem to want to stop the King of Gems. Why not? Ningyu was puzzled. Now that the King of Gems was defeated, their morale was high. It was the best time to kill the King of Gems. If they missed this opportunity, they would not get it again. Crack. As soon as Ningyu's voice fell, a crisp sound came from the sapling. Hearing that, Ningyu's face changed. This was because Ningyu realized that one of the branches on the sapling had actually snapped. Fortunately, the middle of the branch was connected by the bark. Otherwise, the sapling would have completely lost this branch. The King of Gems' strength is beyond my expectation, the sapling said. Unless I go all out, I won't be able to fight the King of Gems. Looking at the merging flames, the sapling said, the merging of the two flames is at a critical moment. I don't want to be distracted. Hearing the sapling's words and the branch that contained the myriad bestial flame and the myriad bone flame, Ningyu finally understood. The sapling was not at its peak. One of the branches had diverted most of its power to trap the strange flames and help them merge. It was not easy for the sapling to force the King of Gems back. Sizzle. At this moment, the myriad bestial flame and the myriad bone flame gradually merged into one, forming a brand new flame. This is the myriad bone bestial flame. Ningyu's jaw dropped when he saw the flames recombining not far away. Disbelief filled his face. The new flame after the myriad bestial flame and the myriad bone flame looked like the myriad bone flame and the myriad bestial flame. Come here. Ningyu's mind stirred, wanting to control this new type of flame. Voila! The new flame wasn't perfect. It only fused together for a few seconds before separating again. It can't be fused. Ningyu was dumbfounded. He had put in so much effort, and even the sapling was almost seriously injured, but he still couldn't merge the two flames together. This is 2F asterisk ked up. I think I can control the 10,000 bone flame now. Although he was unable to merge the 10,000 bone flame with the 10,000 bestial flame, Ningyu felt that his connection with the 10,000 bone flame had deepened significantly. In other words, the current him could control both the 10,000 bone flame and the 10,000 beasts flame. Looks like I won't be able to fuse them again in a short time. Ningyu muttered, the myriad bestial flame and the myriad bone flame are mutually exclusive. Unless I advance to the Earth Supreme Realm, or even the Heavenly Supreme Realm, I won't be able to fuse them together again. Sapling, when will you be able to recover to your peak condition? Ningyu turned around and asked. Ningyu wanted to leave the bottom of the lava as soon as possible. After all, the Dark Emperor and Jean Ba were still outside. He was afraid that the King of the Stony Nation would attack them out of desperation. It will take a long time for me to recover to my peak condition, and I will need a lot of treasures. The sapling had already glued the broken branches back together. I know you want to go out, but I have to remind you that there are many elixir puppets in the 3 stone caves. The weakest among them is a peak 9th grade human supreme, and there is even a 1st grade Earth Supreme. That 1st grade Earth Supreme is no weaker than the King of the Stony Nation. What? Ningyu's heart went cold, and his heart sank to the bottom. If what the sapling said was true, then he wouldn't be able to leave the bottom of the lava in a short time. What is their relationship with the King of the Stony Nation? Suddenly, Ningyu seemed to have thought of something and asked hurriedly. Ningyu was concerned about the relationship between the King of the Stony Nation and the elixir puppets. If they worked together, then the consequences would be unimaginable. If there was a feud between them, then there was still a chance. Don't think too much. I have already sealed the bottom of the lava. The elixir puppets outside won't be able to find out what's going on. The sapling continued. Besides, the King of the Stony Nation is not stupid enough to tell the elixir puppets that we are here. We can't stay here forever, can we? Ningyu frowned. That's easy. I'll teach you a move. If you can use it, you can even injure a 1st grade human supreme if you catch them off guard. The sapling's words were as shocking as they could get. Teach me a move. Ningyu didn't believe the sapling. In his previous life, he was a heavenly sovereign, and even he was helpless in this situation. So what could a sapling do? In ancient times, someone said under the Tree of World that if 2 different kinds of fire are forcefully merged and their repelling characteristics are used, a terrifying power will be released. The sapling said, "Do you know this kind of fusion spell?" Ningyu was overjoyed. He had heard of this special fusion spell in his previous life. An Earth Supreme was besieged by many Sky Supreme. That Earth Supreme had forcefully merged 2 of the top 10 flames on the fire list and released a terrifying power that allowed him to escape. Ningyu was not only a Sky Supreme in his previous life, but also a peak 9th grade human Supreme. At that time, Ningyu had asked around, wanting to learn that fusion spell. Unfortunately, no one knew. No matter how much he inquired, he couldn't find a single clue. In the end, he left it unsettled. Now that he heard the sapling's words, Ningyu's heart became lively. He could control the myriad bestial flame and the myriad bone flame. If he could master this fusion spell, his strength would increase by several times. He would be fearless even if he had to face an Earth Supreme. In your dreams. The sapling poured a bucket of cold water on Ningyu, pulling Ningyu back to reality. I don't know this spell either. I just want you to try it. Holy **T. Ningyu almost cursed. It turned out that even the sapling didn't know about this fusion spell. He had been so happy for nothing. The consequences of merging the flames without the fusion spell were terrifying. In all these years, there were only a few people who were able to fuse 2 types of strange flames. All the others failed without exception and died. This is the only way out. Otherwise, we will stay here and wait for the King of Stones to come in again. The sapling said, don't say I didn't warn you. With my current strength, I only have a 10% chance of winning if I fight the King of Stones again. Ningyu's face darkened. The sapling was forcing him into a dead end. Screw it. Clenching his fists, Ningyu knew he couldn't waste any more time. Although the sapling didn't say it loud enough, Ningyu was no fool. He knew there must be many elixir puppets in the 3-stone cave. The only thing he could do now was to forcefully merge the myriad bestial flame and the myriad bone flame and use their repelling characteristics to unleash a terrifying power. That was the only way he could fight his way out and seize the initiative. Chapter 1297. Kill. Bang. Bang. At the entrance of the Tri-Stone Cave, Supremacy Barley threw a stone beast to the ground. A powerful voice rang out from Barley's mouth. Stony Monarch, I know the Blood Demon Sovereign and Ningyu are inside. I advise you to hand them over, or I'll flatten the Tri-Stone Cave. Venerable B.A. Lee was very powerful. His voice turned into a sharp gust of wind as he rushed into the depths of the cave. The Stony Monarch sat beside the lava, his expression indifferent and unmoved. The World Tree Sapling's terrifying battle prowess made the Stony Monarch's heart tremble. Moreover, it was unrealistic for the Stony Monarch to probe the situation inside after coming up from the bottom of the lava. Not to mention whether he could probe it, he didn't even have the guts to do so. Swish. Suddenly, the Stony Monarch stood up and waved his hands, setting up layers of arrays above the lava. The formations that the King of the Stone Nation had set up were extremely terrifying, even more so than the formations that he had just set up. The World Tree Sapling is mine. No one can take it away from me. A cold light flashed in the Stony Monarch's eyes as he turned and walked out of the Tri-Stone Cave. But after 3 steps, the Stony Monarch stopped and said in a clear voice, "Friends outside, I don't know the Blood Demon Sovereign or Ningyu. I advise you to leave as soon as possible, ha ha ha." Halfway through the Stony Monarch's words, Supremacy Barley threw his head back and laughed. You think I'll leave just because you tell me to? Wouldn't I lose face then? Crack. As he spoke, Supremacy Barley raised his right foot and stomped heavily on the head of a stone beast. Supremacy Barley didn't hold back. Terrifying energy rippled from his ankle. The stone beast that Supremacy Barley was stepping on was only a half-step Earth Sovereign, so it naturally couldn't withstand Supremacy Barley's foot. Without a doubt, the stone beast was stomped to death by Supremacy Barley. I'll give you one last chance. Hand over the Blood Demon Sovereign and Ningyu, or I'll flatten the Tri-Stone Cave. Supremacy Barley exerted a bit of force with his right foot and kicked the stone beast towards the Tri-Stone Cave. Bang! Due to the formation that the Stone King had set up, the quasi-Earth Sovereign Stone Beast didn't reach the Stone King. It stopped a few steps away from the Stone King. Damn it! Even though the Stone King had a heart of stone, He was extremely furious when he saw his subordinates being killed by Venerable Barley. "Don't go too far," the king of the Stone Nation said coldly. "Going too far? Ha ha ha, when Dan Ming is handling matters, you actually dare to obstruct him. Only death awaits you." The corners of Venerable Ba Li's mouth curled up into an arc. Then, he raised his right foot once more and stomped down. Catcher. The same thing happened. The hands of the other half-step Earth Sovereign died beneath Venerable Barley's feet. "How about it, King of the Stone Nation? Are you going to hand him over or not?" Venerable Barley folded his arms in front of his chest and stared straight into the cave. Kai. The Stone King's heart trembled. He pointed with his right hand and a cold light shot out, colliding with Supremacy Ba Li's gaze. The two collided and both dissipated. "No wonder you're so arrogant. Turns out you have some skill." In that short exchange, both Supremacy Ba Li and the Stone King had a clear understanding of each other's strength. They were evenly matched. Neither Supremacy Ba Li nor the Stone King could do anything to the other. In other words, there wasn't much of a difference in their strength. Under such circumstances, Supremacy Ba Li's side was undoubtedly the most advantageous. After all, Supremacy Ba Li had quite a few half-step Earth sovereigns and peak 9th grade human sovereigns on his side. The king of the Stone Nation was alone. Leave 2 peak 9th grade human sovereigns to guard the door. The rest, follow me. Supremacy Ba Li handled matters swiftly and decisively without the slightest bit of sloppiness. He moved his feet and entered the cave of 3 rocks first. The other Dan Ming powerhouses didn't dare to tarry and followed close behind. "Stop." After walking for several minutes inside the cave, Supremacy Ba Li raised his right hand and said in a deep voice, "Wait." Venerable Barley flicked his sleeve, and a cold light flew out in an instant. Fart. The cold light flew only 4 or 5 meters before it seemed to hit a barrier and couldn't advance any further. "It's a barrier of power. Watch me break it." The corner of Supremacy Ba Li's mouth curled up. He threw a punch that landed precisely on the barrier. Crack. Just as Supremacy Ba Li said, the first barrier was a barrier of power. This kind of barrier wasn't a problem for Supremacy Ba Li, and he easily broke it. For the rest of the journey, Supremacy Ba Li kept stopping and walking. It took them half an hour to reach the deepest part of the cave. "Stone King, you're quite calm." In the depths of the cave, Supremacy Ba Li stopped and said, "Speak, where are the Blood Demon Sovereign and Ningyu? Hand them over and I'll spare your life." "Are you sure you can kill me?" The Stone King's face was devoid of joy or sorrow. "Killing you is as easy as blowing off dust." Supremacy Ba Li folded his arms and stared at the Stone King with interest. Ningyu and the others stole the Myriad Bone Cave's treasure. "No matter what, we must get it back today." As he spoke, Supremacy Ba Li's eyes locked onto the Stone King, wanting to see if there was anything amiss with him. However, being able to cultivate to the Earth Supreme level was enough to show how extraordinary the Stone King was. Supremacy Ba Li didn't notice anything amiss. "What Myriad Bone Cave? What treasure? What has that got to do with me?" The king of the Stone Nation was still unmoved. "Good, very good, very good." Supremacy Ba Li's expression instantly turned cold. He turned his head and said, "Attack with all your might and break through the defenses in front of us as quickly as possible." In truth, Supremacy Ba Li had noticed the Stone King's formation the moment he arrived. Venerable Barley's attainments in the art of formations were not to be trifled with. He quickly found a flaw in Supremacy Ba Li's formation. Extending his hand, Supremacy Ba Li pointed to the upper left corner of the formation. "That is the weakest point of the entire formation. As long as you attack with all your might, you will be able to break it in no time." Hearing this, the pill refinement realm experts behind Ba Li unleashed their most powerful attacks and began to bombard the formation. Supremacy Ba Li was no fool. He naturally wouldn't break the formation himself. Through the hurried exchange just now, Supremacy Ba Li knew that the Stone King was powerful and on par with him. If he expended too much energy now, wouldn't he fall into the Stone King's trap? Splash. However, Just as the pill puppets were doing their best to break the formation, something strange happened. A cultivator rushed out from the bottom of the lava. Ningyu. The sudden change stunned Supremacy Ba Li at first, then he laughed heartily. You can wear out iron shoes in fruitless searching, only to find what you're looking for without even looking. If you had been hiding at the bottom of the lava, I might not have been able to find you. But you were foolish enough to leave the lava. Since that's the case, you won't be able to escape even if you grow wings. Above the lava, Ningyu's tightly shut eyes suddenly opened. Chapter 1298. Chapter 1298, Stone Beast Rebellion Enchantment. How dare you try to kill my people? The Stone King snorted, uncharacteristically supporting Ningyu. This is the Three-Stone Cave, not your Myriad Bone Cave. If you don't back off, I'll kill all of you. The Stone King's performance was extremely domineering. It was as if he wasn't facing Supremacy Ba Li and the others, but a bunch of chickens and dogs. Hehe, Stone King, don't think I won't touch you. Supremacy Ba Li smiled, then said coldly, everyone, attack with all your might. Break the defensive formation. Whoosh. The pill puppets made their moves as soon as Supremacy Ba Li's words fell. All kinds of magical arts flew out, all aimed at the same point. Crack. Although the formation set up by the Stone King was powerful, it didn't last long under the bombardment of so many core refinement realm experts. The second formation, upper left corner. Supremacy Ba Li didn't intend to stop there. He approached step by step, ordering the pill puppets to attack the second formation. Crack. Soon, the second formation was also broken. Crack, 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 crack. The Stone King's formations were all broken. Hey! Where are the Blood Demon Sovereign and the Black Dog? Why don't I see them here? After breaking the formation, Supremacy Ba Li frowned. Stone King, hand over the Blood Demon Sovereign and the Black Dog, and I'll let bygones be bygones. Otherwise, I'll flatten the Three-Stone Cave. Boom. As Supremacy Ba Li spoke, the pill puppets behind him cooperated. The pill puppets unleashed their auras and pressed down on the Stone King. Since the Stone King had stepped forward to protect Ningyu, Supremacy Ba Li and the others believed that the Stone King and Ningyu were on the same side. Since they were on the same side, they didn't mind getting rid of the Stone King as well. Let me repeat myself. This is the Three-Stone Cave, my territory. The Stone King didn't back down. He unleashed his aura and collided with the pill puppets. Fart. Fart. The Stone King was, after all, a first-grade Earth Sovereign. On Supremacy Bali's side, the numerous pill puppets were naturally no match for the Stone Monarch. In just a few seconds, several of the 10,000 Bone Cave's core refinement experts vomited blood. Their complexions were a bit ugly. Venerable Ba Li took a step forward and coldly snorted, refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit. Rumble. As Lord Ba Li's voice faded, his aura soared into the sky and pressed down on the Stone King. Poochie. This time, it was the King of the Stone Nation who spat out blood. It was difficult for the King of the Stone Nation to fight one against many. Has the King of the Stone Nation changed? In the air, Ningyu was a little dumbfounded. To be honest, Ningyu was surprised that the Stone Emperor was willing to help Ningyu. Back at the bottom of the lava, Ningyu and the King of the Stone Nation had a huge battle. If it weren't for the sapling, Ningyu would have fallen into the hands of the Stone King. I understand. Ningyu wasn't a fool. He thought about it and immediately understood. The Stone King wanted to protect him because of the sapling. The sapling was too important to the Stone King, so important that he was willing to take the risk. However, there was one thing that Ningyu couldn't understand. The Stone King was scared away by the sapling at the bottom of the lava. Why would he help now? Could it be that he found a way to counter the sapling after his strength increased? It's best if both sides suffer. Although he didn't know why the Stone King would help him, Ningyu was clear that the Stone King was up to no good. Sapling, who do you think will win? Ningyu put away the Myriad Bestial Flame and Myriad Bone Flame and crossed his arms in front of his chest. He looked at the Stone King with interest and began to communicate with the sapling. Isn't it obvious? It must be the experts from the Myriad Bone Cave, the sapling said. Haven't you noticed? The Grade 1 Earth Supreme from the Myriad Bone Cave hasn't used his full strength yet. Every time he attacks, he's probing. Probing? Ning Yu was taken aback. He looked at the battlefield and said, "You're right. Every attack from Ba Li Supremacy seemed powerful, but that was not the case. Every attack from him was easily countered by the Stone King. What should we do now? Should we give them a big one?" Ning Yu said in a low voice. "Let's wait and see. It's impossible to leave the Three-Stone Cave now," and, at this point, the sapling paused for a moment and didn't continue. "And what?" Ning Yu asked. "If I'm not mistaken, all the stone beasts in the Three-Stone Mountain are heading this way." Whoosh. It was just as the sapling had said. All the stone beasts in the Three-Stone Mountain were mobilized. An overwhelming number of stone beasts came out of the caves. The number of stone beasts continued to grow. In the end, an extremely terrifying group swept across the Three-Stone Mountain. Wherever the group passed, not even a blade of grass would grow. It was extremely terrifying. "Oh no, it's the stone beast." Not far from the Three-Stone Cave, the Dark Emperor and Jean Ba's expressions changed when they saw the billowing smoke. They had never seen so many stone beasts before. Even if these stone beasts were only low-level human supremacies, they could still trample them into pieces with their advantage in numbers. Go underground. The Dark Emperor and Jean Ba didn't want to stay there a second longer. They leaped and drilled into the ground. Holy crap, there are stone beasts underground too. The Dark Emperor and Jean Ba were dumbfounded after just a few meters underground. They had thought that all the stone beasts were above ground. Who would have thought that there was an army of stone beasts underground? Gulp. Think of a way to enter the Three-Stone Cave. Swallowing a mouthful of saliva, the Dark Emperor leaped out of the ground. Whoosh. Whoosh. The Dark Emperor and Jean Ba immediately ran toward the entrance of the Three-Stone Cave. As the saying went, the most dangerous place was the safest place. Maybe the stone beasts wouldn't enter the Three-Stone Cave? There was always hope. Otherwise, they would be no different from salted fish. "It's you, Jean Ba. And that black dog." The Dark Emperor and Jean Ba had just arrived at the entrance of the Three-Stone Cave when they were discovered by two peak Grade 9 human supremacies. Although the two pill puppets had discovered the Dark Emperor and Jean Ba, they didn't dare to make a move here. This was because the Stone Beast army had already arrived in front of the Three-Stone Cave and surrounded it. At this time, even the slightest leakage of Yuan Qi could cause the stone beasts to attack the Three-Stone Cave. Therefore, the Dark Emperor and the Myriad Bone Cave's pill puppets temporarily put aside their differences and didn't rashly use their Yuan Qi. "We have to think of a way. We can't stay here forever," one of the Myriad Bone Cave's pill puppets said solemnly. "What can we do? It's nothing more than entering the Three-Stone Cave and asking Venerable Ba Li for help." The other pill puppet said. "We can't move first. Let Jean Ba and the others move." "To be careful," the first pill puppet said to Jean Ba and the Dark Emperor, "You two enter the Three-Stone Cave and tell Venerable Ba Li about the situation here. Tell him to come out and save us." Chapter 1299. Chapter 1299, Negotiation at most, we'll just fight to the death. Jean Ba wasn't afraid of the two pill puppets. Now, no one dared to use their essence chi, and no one dared to move easily. The two pill puppets wanted to order him around. It was like a joke. "You." Hearing Jean Ba's words, the two pill puppets gnashed their teeth. Jean Ba was right. They didn't dare to use their Yuan Qi or move. "What about you? Come over if you can." The Dark Emperor cooperated with Jean Ba. He rolled his eyes and said, "Your grandfather is standing right here. I guarantee that he won't even frown." "Fine, fine. You win." Helpless, the two pill puppets could only give up. They didn't have the guts to teach the Dark Emperor and Jean Ba a lesson. Whoosh. As time passed, the Stone Beast army seemed to be getting more and more agitated. At this rate, the stone beasts would charge in at any moment. At that time, the pill puppets, the Dark Emperor, and the rest would all be trampled into pieces. We have to think of a way. The Dark Emperor and John Ba exchanged glances and saw the anxiety in each other's eyes. The situation was urgent and they had to resolve it as soon as possible. Hey, nondescript fellows, after our consideration, we feel that it's not a bad idea to enter the three-stone cave first, but you'll have to pay a small price. The Dark Emperor raised his brows. What conditions? The two pill puppets' eyes lit up. We don't want much. Just give us some pure yuan qi. The Dark Emperor said. Here. One of the pill puppets flicked his wrist and threw a crystal ball to the Dark Emperor. There's a large amount of pure yuan qi in this crystal ball. It's enough for you to cultivate to the 5th grade. In the pill puppet's opinion, even if they gave everything they had to the Dark Emperor wouldn't be able to escape. Supremacy Ba Li and the rest were in the depths of the three-stone cave. The Dark Emperor and John Ba would definitely encounter them once they entered. At that time, would Supremacy Ba Li let them go? The answer was no. Therefore, the pill puppet didn't hesitate and gave all the pure yuan qi he had to the Dark Emperor. Catcher. After receiving the crystal ball, the Dark Emperor threw it into his mouth without a word. Seeing the Dark Emperor's actions, the corners of the two elixir puppets' mouths twitched at the same time. The crystal ball that they had given to the Dark Emperor contained a boundless amount of essence energy. Even if the Dark Emperor was a purple gold sky-devouring hound, it would still be a little too much, right? Very good, thank you. The Dark Emperor nodded at the two pill puppets. Then, he stomped on the ground and quickly flew toward the three-stone cave. Whoosh! Jean Ba followed closely behind the Dark Emperor. Should we go in? Seeing that the Dark Emperor and Jean Ba had safely entered the three-stone cave, the two pill puppets spoke in unison. Let's go in. The two Dans were not fools. Since the Dark Emperor and Jean Ba could enter the three-stone cave safely, it meant that they could as well. If they stayed any longer, there was no telling when the stone beasts would go berserk. Therefore, entering the three-stone cave now was the best choice. Shoo. These two Dan Mats were not indecisive Dan Mats. They left as soon as they said they would. Their feet stepped on the ground and they quickly rushed into the depths of the three-stone caves. Rumble. However, right at this moment, an unexpected change occurred. The large number of stone beasts outside the three-stone cave dispersed, creating a wide path. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, several stone beasts flew over from afar and rushed toward the three-stone cave at a shocking speed. Shit. Let's go. The two myriad bone cave Dan Mats turned pale with fright. They used all their strength and rushed toward the depths of the three-stone cave. Bang! Bang! However, the myriad bone cave Dan Mats were only at the peak of the 9th grade human supreme realm. How could their speed catch up to the powerful stone beasts? Those stone beasts were all at the half-step Earth supreme realm. After flying for tens of steps, the two myriad bone cave Dan Mats were hit in the chest by a huge force and slammed into the wall. The result of falling to the ground in front of the stone beast army was obvious. The two myriad bone cave Dan Mats were stomped into pieces and died on the spot. At the same time, the Dark Emperor and Jean Ba had already escaped to the depths of the three-stone cave. However, seeing the large number of Dan Mats in front of them, the Dark Emperor and Jean Ba immediately stopped and their faces turned pale. When the Dark Emperor and Jean Ba flew at full speed, they could naturally sense the stone beasts outside the three-stone cave. There were wolves in front and tigers behind. They were in an extremely dangerous situation. Dark Emperor, Jean Ba, not good. In the deepest part of the three-stone cave, Ningyu saw the Dark Emperor and Jean Ba and was overjoyed. However, when Ningyu saw the stone beast army behind the Dark Emperor and Jean Ba, his expression changed and he shouted, "Watch out! Stop!" The Stone King was caught off guard by the sudden opportunity. As the leader of the stone beasts, the Stone King quickly reacted and said in a low voice, "Stand back. No one is allowed to attack without my permission." Whoosh! The Stone King issued an order. As soon as he spoke, the stone beast army stopped. Whoosh! Seeing the stone beast army stop, the Dark Emperor and Jean Ba heaved a sigh of relief. The situation just now had given them a fright. If the stone beast army had charged at them with full force, they would have been killed instantly. If they didn't die, there was no chance of survival. Supremacy Ba Li, do you still want to flatten the three-stone cave? The Stone King smiled and said to Supremacy Ba Li, with a single command from me, this place will become hell on earth. Supremacy Ba Li's face was dark and gloomy. No one knew what he was thinking. He didn't expect the Stone King to have such power in the Three-Stone Mountain. Supremacy Ba Li knew that there were many stone beasts in the Three-Stone Mountain, but he didn't expect there to be so many half-step Earth Supreme stone beasts. In his opinion, it was already good enough that the Three-Stone Mountain could nurture one Earth Supreme. Who would have thought that there would be so many half-step Earth Supreme stone beasts? There must be treasures in the Three-Stone Mountain. Supremacy Ba Li's eyes lit up at the thought. He couldn't miss this opportunity. Stone King, aren't you afraid that the Black Dog and John Ba will die during the battle? Supremacy Ba Li shrugged. What am I afraid of? If they die, so be it. It has nothing to do with me. The Stone King's words were directed at Ning Yu. The Stone King wanted to know how important the Dark Emperor and John Ba were to Ning Yu. Stone King, I hope you can protect the Dark Emperor and John Ba. Ning Yu naturally knew what the Stone King meant. If you can save the Dark Emperor and John Ba, I can plead on your behalf and let the sapling help you take human form. No, I need a branch. The Stone King clearly didn't want to agree to Ning Yu's request. The Stone King wasn't a fool. If Ning Yu didn't use the sapling right away, it meant that there was something wrong with it. This was the best time to take advantage of the situation. If he missed this opportunity, he wouldn't get another one. Chapter 1300. To slaughter the heavens and destroy the earth, this is extortion. Ning Yu began to bargain. There were only 2 branches on the sapling's body, and one of them was severely damaged. If the sapling were to give up a branch at this time, it would undoubtedly aggravate its injuries. It doesn't matter to me, but whether your 2 friends survive or not doesn't have much to do with me. The king of the Stone Nation looked very confident. Kuala. At the same time, the half-step Earth Sovereign stone beasts behind the Dark Emperor and John Ba took a step forward. The king of the Stone Nation was putting on a show for Ning Yu, forcing Ning Yu to submit. I can only fight for a small branch for you. A whole branch is impossible. Ning Yu said in a low voice, you should know that we have the ability to leave this place. At worst, we can find a place to hide and wait for the sapling to completely recover. Then, we can come back and destroy the Three-Stone Cave. You're threatening me, the king of the Stone Nation said coldly. If you really want to think of it that way, just take it as a threat. Ning Yu shrugged and said, a small branch is the best result I can get for you. Don't push your luck. Remember what you said. The king of the Stone Nation knew that he couldn't push Ning Yu too hard. If Ning Yu really left with the sapling, he would never get the branch of the world tree. Don't worry, I can swear an oath to the heavens. If I do not give you a small branch, you can kill the Dark Emperor and John Ba at any time. Ning Yu nodded and said. The reason why Ning Yu dared to raise this condition was because the sapling told him that losing a small branch was no big deal. It just so happened that one of the sapling's branches had broken off, so it needed to give up a small branch. Originally, the sapling planned to give the branch it cut off to Ning Yu to strengthen Ning Yu's body. Since the Dark Emperor was in danger, using the branch to save the Dark Emperor was not a bad idea. Take that black dog and that man away. The king of the Stone Nation watched as Ning Yu made the heavenly oath and ordered a half-step Earth Sovereign stone beast to bring the Dark Emperor and John Ba out of the Three-Stone Cave. The king of the Stone Nation chose to take the Dark Emperor and John Ba away, on one hand, to save them, and on the other, to threaten Ning Yu. You're smart. Venerable Ba Li knew who was more important, so he watched as the stone beast took away the Dark Emperor and John Ba. He did not stop it. I don't need you to judge whether I'm smart or not. The king of the Stone Nation said proudly, your life and death are in your own hands. One word, retreat or fight. The king of the Stone Nation had nothing to worry about. In terms of top combat power, he was not weaker than the Myriad Bone Cave. He and Venerable Ba Li were both first-grade Earth Sovereigns, and their strengths were on par with each other. As for the remaining half-step Earth Supremes, His side even had the advantage. If he didn't even dare to fight Venerable Barley and the others, then he could really go home and plant sweet potatoes. Fight. Venerable Barley wasn't a pushover either. Go deal with the stone beasts outside. Leave the Stone King to me. Swish. Venerable Barley charged out as he spoke. Crack, crack, crack. The King of the Stone Nation's formation had no effect on Venerable Barley's speed. Even for a second, he was unable to block it. Venerable Barley was a formation master, and his attainments in formations were profound. For the King of the Stone Nation to set up a formation that could trap him was more difficult than ascending to the heavens. Take this. Venerable Barley raised his brows and waved his hands. A small vortex appeared in the air and charged at the King of the Stone Nation. It's a formation. Ningyu frowned when he saw Venerable Barley's vortex. It was a little scary. A pill puppet that could set up a formation with a flip of its hand and use it to attack must have a high status among the pill puppets. Sapling, how much longer do you need to recover? Ningyu didn't want to get involved in the battle between the King of the Stone Nation and Venerable Barley. He took a few steps back and communicated with the sapling. I'm not sure. At least a day, at most half a year, the sapling replied. Too slow. Is there any other way to speed it up? Ningyu shook his head. The battle was intense, and the sapling needed to recover as soon as possible. Although Ningyu could fuse the myriad bestial flame and the myriad bone flame, it could only be used once at a critical moment. Moreover, Ningyu wouldn't be able to kill Venerable Barley by fusing the two flames. He had to find an opportunity. It's not impossible for me to recover as soon as possible, the sapling said. What is it? Ningyu hurriedly asked. It's simple. Find me a large amount of heaven and earth treasures and let me devour them, the sapling said. I don't want that. Ningyu was so angry that his nose was crooked. They were trapped in the 3 stone caves. Where would they find heaven and earth treasures? 3 stone caves was the King of the Stone Nation's territory. That's right, the King of the Stone Nation. Suddenly, Ningyu seemed to have thought of something, and his eyes began to search the entire 3 stone cave. The Stone Nation had occupied the 3 stone caves for many years. There was no reason there wouldn't be heaven and earth treasures here. Blood fusion crystal. Ningyu released his perception and quickly discovered an extremely precious crystal on the surrounding walls. The blood fusion crystal was even more precious than an emperor-grade origin crystal. The energy contained within it was enormous. Ningyu didn't expect to see it here. Swish. Moving his feet, Ningyu quickly arrived beside the blood fusion crystal and tried to break it off. However, no matter how hard Ningyu tried, he couldn't move the blood fusion crystal in the slightest. Retreat. Right at this moment, the sapling warned. Without another word, Ningyu stomped on the ground and quickly retreated. Rumble. Just as Ningyu retreated, the Stone Nation and Venerable Barley's powerful attacks arrived and landed squarely on the blood fusion crystal. Crack. A crisp sound rang out. The blood fusion crystal that Ningyu couldn't move no matter how hard he tried, remained unmoved. This situation was clearly out of Ningyu's expectations. Although the blood fusion crystal didn't move, there were some changes to it. The outermost layer of the blood fusion crystal fell off, revealing its interior. What? Ningyu's expression changed. He couldn't stop his body from trembling. Ningyu had just advanced to the initial grade 6 human supreme not long ago. Both his perception and eyesight had improved significantly. With Ningyu's influence, he naturally noticed the small line of words on the blood fusion crystal. Slaughtering heaven and earth formation. Ningyu's pupils constricted. He immediately used all his strength to leave the 3 stone cave. In his previous life, Ningyu had witnessed the ferocity of the slaughtering heaven and earth formation when he was in the Earth Supreme realm. It could be said that if an Earth Supreme was trapped in the slaughtering heaven and earth formation, his chances of survival would be close to 0. Has this kid lost his mind? Has he lost his mind? Seeing Ningyu rush into the battlefield, the Stone Nation and Venerable Barley were a little dumbfounded. The aftermath of their battle was terrifying. How could a 6th grade 6 human supreme like Ningyu not only know how to dodge, but also come in and join the battle? What was wrong with this world? Swish, 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 swish. Suddenly, 4 blood-red crystals appeared in the void. The 4 red crystals instantly embedded themselves into the wall of the 3-stone cave. Rumble. Chapter 1301. What? Shit. Not good. In the beginning, the Stone King and Venerable B.A. Lee thought that Ningyu had lost his mind. But the sudden change left them dumbfounded. The crimson aura in the surroundings made their faces change. Especially Venerable B.A. Lee, who was enraged at this moment. He turned around and hollered at the Stone King, "So you've been scheming all along. How bold of you." Venerable B.A. Lee's attainments in spiritual arrays were profound, so he could tell that they were trapped by the spiritual array with a glance. Furthermore, this spiritual array was extremely terrifying. It was the Heaven Annihilating Grand Array. The Heaven Annihilating Grand Array was one of the 10 great slaughtering arrays in ancient times. Even with Venerable B.A. Lee's attainments in spiritual arrays, he felt a little despair facing this terrifying spiritual array. "Even I didn't know that there's a Heaven Annihilating Grand Array here." The Stone King also felt sullen. As the king of the 3-stone cave, he had lived here for hundreds and thousands of years, but he didn't know that there was a Heaven Annihilating Grand Array here. "You didn't know?" Venerable B.A. Lee looked at the Stone King in doubt. "You have to think this through. Once the Heaven Annihilating Grand Array is activated, it has to be broken within half an hour. Otherwise, not even a greater Earth Sovereign would be able to survive." Venerable B.A. Lee didn't believe the Stone King's words. His perception had been on the Stone King. As long as the Stone King wanted to break the spiritual array, he wouldn't be able to escape his perception. As for Ningyu, he had been neglected by Venerable B.A. Lee. After all, Ningyu's cultivation was only at the initial 6th grade sovereign realm, and his attainments in spiritual arrays were extremely low. So it was impossible for him to break the Heaven Annihilating Grand Array. "Ah, my eyes, my arms, my legs, what the hell are those?" Roar. Retreat. At this moment, Stone Beast and Dan Kai, who were closer to the cave entrance, let out hysterical screams. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, several crimson streaks shot out. Those crimson streaks were extremely terrifying, and the Stone Beast and Pellet Puppet were struck at the same time. The dead were dead, and the injured were injured. Dan Kai and the Stone Beast, who were fortunate enough to survive, cast aside their previous grudges and worked together to resist the cold, blood-colored light. Then, they slowly moved toward the entrance of the cave. "Stay here and don't move." Seeing Stone Beast and Dan Kai's actions, Venerable B.A. Lee shouted loudly, wanting to stop them. However, this was a critical moment of life and death, and the dawn was right in front of them. How could the Stone Beast and Dan Kai give up? "Stone King, quickly tell the Stone Beasts to stop, there," Barley said anxiously. "Pu pu 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 pu." Venerable Barley's voice came to a screeching halt. This was because he saw that there were more and more blood-colored cold lights at the entrance of the 3-stone cave, enveloping many pill puppets and stone beasts. The blood-colored cold light blocked their eyes, making it impossible for them to see what was happening within the cold light. "It's over, it's over. This time, we've really been completely wiped out." Venerable B.A. Lee collapsed to the ground and said weakly, "Those cold lights dealt with the stone beasts and pill puppets outside first. Next, they will definitely come to deal with us." "What do you mean?" The Stone King was puzzled. "Those cold lights are the attacks of the Heaven and Earth Annihilation Great Array. They will gradually push forward until all the living beings within the array are refined. Only then will they stop." Since he knew that they didn't have much time left, Venerable B.A. Lee explained, "If I'm not wrong, those blood-colored lights will disperse in 3 minutes at most. When that time comes, it will be our time of death." Swish. Venerable B.A. Lee's guess was right. 3 minutes later, the blood-colored cold light at the entrance of the 3-stone cave had completely dispersed. Pill Puppet and Stone Beast were all dead in the place where the blood-colored light had disappeared. Not a single one of them survived. Plop. Obviously, the king of the Stone Nation was in despair. So many half-step Earth sovereign stone beasts didn't even have the chance to retaliate. He might be a first-grade Earth sovereign, but he asked himself if there was any way out. The answer was clearly no. Ah, Venerable B.A. Lee, is there really no way out? The Stone King sighed. We are powerful Earth sovereigns. There's no reason for us to be trapped here. Powerful Earth sovereigns? Haha, let me tell you the truth. Even a high-level Earth sovereign wouldn't be able to survive this array that trapped us. Venerable B.A. Lee laughed bitterly. Swish. At this moment, several cold lights appeared in the void again. The cold lights were divided into 3 parts. The first was to deal with Venerable B.A. Lee, the second was to deal with the Stone King. As for the third part, it was to deal with Ning Yu. We can't just sit here and wait for death. Although the Stone King and Venerable B.A. Lee seemed a little dispirited, they still burst forth with astonishing fighting strength in the face of death. For a moment, they were on par with the blood-colored cold lights. What's going on? Could it be that the array has been idle for years and has loosened? Venerable B.A. Lee was puzzled. The Heaven and Earth Annihilation Great Array could adjust the power of the blood-colored cold lights according to the strength of the trapped cultivators. Against Earth sovereigns, the Heaven and Earth Annihilation Great Array would adjust the power of the blood-colored cold lights to the level of a 5th-grade Earth sovereign. It didn't make sense for a 5th-grade Earth sovereign's blood-colored cold light to be so weak. Stone King, attack the blood-colored cold light with all your might. Who knows, we might have a chance to leave this place. Venerable B.A. Lee shouted. He clenched his right hand into a fist and punched one of the blood-colored cold lights. Crack. As expected, Venerable B.A. Lee's guess was right. His all-out attack had actually shattered the blood-colored cold radiance. Seeing that Venerable B.A. Lee had succeeded, the Stone King's confidence soared and he began to attack the blood-colored cold light. Damn it, why are these cold lights so difficult to deal with? The blood-colored cold light that was used against Venerable B.A. Lee and the Stone King was not particularly heaven-defying, but the blood-colored cold light that was used against Ning Yu was heaven-defying to the extreme. Even with all his might, Ning Yu could not destroy a single cold light. Sapling, is there any way to deal with these blood-colored cold lights? Ning Yu had no choice but to ask the sapling for help. There is a way, but I need your help, the sapling said. What kind of help? Ning Yu asked. Capture the cold lights and put them into the interspatial ring. Drip a drop of blood essence on each cold light, the sapling warned. Remember, you must drip your blood essence on them. Otherwise, even I won't be able to deal with them. Let's go all out. Ning Yu stomped on the ground and swung the red demon sword in his hand. In an instant, 2 blood-colored cold lights were forced to the side of the interspatial ring by Ning Yu. Drip. Drip. Left with no choice, Ning Yu forced 2 drops of blood essence onto the blood-colored cold lights. Whoosh. Shortly after, the blood-colored cold lights were wrapped by a branch and brought into the interspatial ring. Keep up the good work. The sapling's voice sounded in Ning Yu's ears. This method is feasible. Just follow it and you'll be able to deal with the blood-colored cold lights sooner or later. All right. Chapter 1302. Whoosh. Whoosh. Within the storage ring, the sapling continued to refine the blood-colored frosty light with the help of Ning Yu's blood essence. If Ning Yu were here, he would definitely be shocked. The sapling refined the frosty light and extracted 2 drops of liquid from it. One of the drops was swallowed by the sapling, while the other was fused with Ning Yu's blood essence. The frosty light was very special. Each and every one of them contained an enormous amount of energy. The sapling believed that it would be able to recover to its peak state as soon as possible. When that time came, it and Ning Yu would be able to sweep through everything in its path. At the very least, the Stone King and the Lord of Ba Li would be no match for them. However, the current situation required Ning Yu to continuously force out the frosty light and drip his blood essence onto it for the sapling to refine. Time was ticking away. 10 minutes passed in the blink of an eye. Whoosh. Whoosh. On the other side, the Stone King and the Lord of Ba Li both heaved a sigh of relief. After 10 minutes of intense battle, the two of them had finally dealt with all of the frosty light. What is Ning Yu doing? The Stone King and the Lord of Ba Li didn't dare to relax in the slightest. They turned to look at Ning Yu. The Stone King and the Lord of Ba Li were dumbfounded at the sight of Ning Yu absorbing the frosty light. Has he lost his mind? The Lord of Ba Li thought that Ning Yu had lost his mind. After all, Ning Yu's expression was becoming more and more unsightly until it was completely devoid of blood. Ning Yu, you'd better find a way to destroy these frosty lights. Otherwise, when they explode, you'll be blasted to pieces, the Stone King reminded him out of goodwill. In truth, the Stone King's warning to Ning Yu wasn't out of goodwill, but rather because he was afraid that he would be harmed by the explosion of the frosty light. After all, he and Venerable Bali had dealt with the blood-colored cold light in front of them. Now that they had a rare break, no one wanted to make a mistake. Ning Yu remained unmoved and continued to quickly collect the blood-colored cold light. Humph! How stubborn! The king of the Stone Nation said coldly. Ning Yu still didn't react and continued to collect the blood-colored cold light. The king of the Stone Nation only dared to scold Ning Yu verbally, but he didn't dare to go over. Although the blood-colored cold light Ning Yu was facing was relatively weak, who knew if it would suddenly become stronger? At this time, it was better to think about himself first. The Stone King and Venerable Bali sat down cross-legged and began to recuperate. 3 more to go. As time passed, the number of blood-colored rays in front of Ning Yu decreased. 3, 2, 1. Soon, Ning Yu stored all of the blood-colored cold light into his storage ring. Thump! When the last blood-colored cold light disappeared, Ning Yu sat on the ground and panted heavily. Success! Not long after Ning Yu sat down, the sapling's excited voice entered his ears. Success! Hearing this, Ning Yu was taken aback at first, then he abruptly sat up from the ground and exclaimed, "You refined all of the blood-colored cold light?" "Yes, and I've also recovered to my peak condition." As it spoke, the sapling returned all of Ning Yu's blood essence to Ning Yu. "This is your blood essence. I've injected all of the energy contained in the blood-colored cold light into your blood essence. If you refine this blood essence, your cultivation will improve even further." Whoosh whoosh whoosh, several drops of blood essence flew out from the storage ring. Without a word, Ning Yu opened his mouth and sucked them all into his mouth. After sucking in the blood essence, Ning Yu hurriedly used the spirit transformation technique to refine his blood essence. Buzz! As Ning Yu continued to refine the blood essence, his aura also underwent some changes. When Ning Yu was at the bottom of the lava, the dark golden blood in his heart flowed, allowing him to successfully advance from a 5th-grade human supreme to a 6th-grade human supreme. Now that Ning Yu was refining the blood essence, his cultivation was completely stabilized. Even his sea of consciousness was loosening. Bang! Not long after, when the dull sound was heard, Ning Yu suddenly opened his eyes, and his aura disappeared in a flash. A 6th-grade intermediate human supreme. At this moment, Ning Yu benefited from the disaster, advancing from a 6th-grade initial human supreme to a 6th-grade intermediate human supreme. Rumble! At this moment, the entire 3-stone cave began to shake. The frequency of the 3-stone cave's shaking was very high, and the rocks above the cave began to fall. Crack! Moreover, not only did the rocks above the 3-stone cave fall, even the ground began to crack. The cracks on the ground grew larger and larger, until a huge crack appeared. Not good. The moment the crack appeared, Venerable Ba Li and the Stone King's faces drastically changed, and they hastily retreated. Swish! However, Venerable Ba Li's speed of retreat was clearly slower by half a beat. A huge palm shot out from the crack, grabbed Venerable Ba Li, and dragged him into the crack. Crack! Then, the crack closed up, and everything returned to normal. Gulp! Ning Yu and the Stone King swallowed a mouthful of saliva at the same time. The huge palm from before made their hearts palpitate. Ning Yu and the Stone King could clearly sense that the owner of the huge palm was at least a high-level Earth Supreme. Exchanging glances, the Stone King and Ning Yu could see the seriousness in each other's eyes. For a moment, the cave became quiet, and neither Ning Yu nor the Stone King broke the silence. Their eyes flickered as they thought of a countermeasure. Sapling, can we leave this place? Ning Yu communicated with the sapling. If we stay here any longer, we will face the same fate as Venerable Ba Li. It's troublesome. The sapling said with a grave expression, "If I've guessed correctly, the cultivator underground has suffered grave injuries. His current strength is only at the Earth Supreme Realm, far from the Heavenly Supreme Realm." Ningyu's face changed. Even in an injured state, that person still possessed the strength of an Earth Supreme. So one could imagine how terrifying the other party would be once he fully recovered. "You don't have to worry too much. The slaughtering heaven and earth annihilation array is used to trap that cultivator." The sapling continued, "If he dares to come out later, you and the Stone King will attack together and make him pay the price." He's trapped by the slaughtering heaven and earth annihilation array? Ningyu was briefly stunned. What a terrifying person to be able to unleash such a powerful strength despite being trapped in the slaughtering heaven and earth annihilation array. "Ningyu, I think we should work together," the Stone King suddenly said. Suddenly, the nearby Stone King said in a deep voice, "Even someone as powerful as Bali was captured by that giant hand, let alone you." "What do you mean?" Ningyu asked without batting an eyelid. "It's simple. I'll give you a Dharma artifact. When the rift appears, pretend to be captured by the giant hand, and when the rift is about to close, give the hand a fatal blow." As he spoke, the Stone King spat out a small stone. Waving the stone in his hand, the Stone King said, "This is a stone essence. There's only one in the entire Tri-Rock Mountain. Throw it into the hand of the underground expert and kill him along with his body." Chapter 1303. Chapter 1303, Stone Essence. Stone Essence. Ningyu's eyes widened as he stared at the emerald green stone in the Stone King's hand. Stone Essence was an extremely precious energy stone. Many famous mountains might not even be able to produce a single stone essence, but the Three-Stone Mountain was able to. This truly shocked Ningyu. Ningyu could clearly feel that the stone essence in the Stone King's hand contained a terrifying amount of energy. Once he refined it, he could easily advance to the late-stage 6th grade human supreme. "What do you think? Think about it. This is our last chance to survive." Seeing Ningyu's shock, the Stone King continued, "Don't worry, I'll help you. As long as you throw the stone essence into the hands of the underground expert, he'll definitely die." "How many stone essences do you have?" Ningyu asked. He did not agree to the Stone King's request immediately. "If you can give me another piece of stone essence, I might be able to agree to it." "I don't have any more." The Three-Stone Mountain only produced one stone essence. The Stone King shook his head and said, "I was saving this stone essence for my breakthrough to the 2nd grade Earth Supreme. Since we're in danger, I won't keep it to myself. I'll use it directly." Ningyu's face darkened as he weighed the pros and cons. "Say yes." Just then, the sapling's voice rang in Ningyu's ears. Ningyu did not think too much and said, "Stone King, throw the stone essence to me." "I'll do as you say." "Not now. I'll throw the stone essence to you when the crack appears again." The Stone King did not trust Ningyu. He said, "Also, I'll throw the stone essence into the crack. Your task is to catch it and throw it into the hands of the underground expert." "No problem." After leaving behind these words, Ningyu no longer spoke and tightly closed his eyes. Losing a stone essence in exchange for half an hour. It's totally worth it. The king of the Stone Nation had a cold expression on his face. The cultivators in the outside world did not know that aside from the stone beast, there was also an extremely powerful demonic beast on Three-Stone Mountain. Three-legged golden crow. A few decades ago, a three-legged golden crow descended upon the Three-Rock Mountain. At that time, the three-legged golden crow was seriously injured. The Stone King mobilized all the demonic beasts in the Three-Rock Mountains to find all kinds of treasures for the golden crow to recover. Decades passed in the blink of an eye. The three-legged golden crow finally sent a weak message asking for the whereabouts of the Stone King. This was the message the three-legged golden crow had sent. The Stone King was delighted and quickly told the three-legged golden crow what had happened. The result was obvious. The three-legged golden crow told the King of Stone to hold on for half an hour, and he would arrive at the Three-Stone Cave within half an hour. The King of the Stone Nation trusted the three-legged golden crow. Decades ago, the heavily injured three-legged golden crow had easily defeated the King of the Stone Nation. When the three-legged golden crow arrives at the three-stone cave in half an hour, I'll be able to leave safely. The Stone King's eyes lit up and he thought to himself, the three-legged golden crow doesn't know that Ningyu has the sapling of the Tree of World. That's my advantage. The entire three-stone cave suddenly became quiet. The silence was extremely terrifying. Since the slaughtering heaven and destroying earth formation isolated everything, not a single breath of air could enter the three-stone cave. As time went by, Ningyu and the Stone King began to feel the pressure. Even though they were peerless overlords, it was still difficult for them to not breathe for a long time. Boom! Suddenly, the ground caved in and a huge crack appeared again. Just like last time, a huge hand emerged from the ground and quickly grabbed at Ningyu. Ningyu's expression changed drastically. He shouted, "Stone King, throw the stone essence to me." "Throw it to you? Are you kidding me?" The Stone King was overjoyed to see the hand reaching for Ningyu. The reason why the Stone King wanted to give the stone essence to Ningyu was that he wanted Ningyu to stall for half an hour so that the hand could deal with Ningyu. After all, the hand's first target was Lord Barley, and the Stone King was afraid that he would be the second target. Now that the hand's second target was Ningyu, he naturally wouldn't give the stone essence to Ningyu. "You're going back on your word," Ningyu said coldly. "So what if I'm going back on my word? As long as I can survive, I'll do anything." "Oh no." The corner of the Stone King's mouth rose. He was about to mock Ningyu when he saw something that terrified him. The huge hand suddenly stopped in front of Ningyu, turned around and grabbed at him. "I'm going back on my word." The Stone King trembled in fear. "Ningyu, stop the hand. I'll throw the stone essence to you." As he spoke, the Stone King flipped his wrist and tossed the stone essence at Ningyu. "Pa!" Catching the stone essence firmly, Ningyu shrugged. "Go down and accompany Lord Barley." "Ah! You're going back on your word, Ningyu." The king of the Stone Nation turned pale with fright and regret. If he had known earlier, he would have thrown the stone essence to Ningyu instead of waiting until now. Now, he was caught by the huge hand and couldn't move. "It's not that I'm going back on my word. You're the one who broke our agreement first. I'm just giving you a taste of your own medicine." Ningyu quickly retreated to a corner. "Lord Barley must be lonely down there. If you go down and accompany him, he'll probably be happier." "Phut!" The Stone King was enraged and struggled to break free from the huge hand. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't move an inch. Blood sprayed from his mouth. In the end, the Stone King sank into the ground with a venomous expression. Crack! The fissure closed again, and everything returned to normal. Whoosh! At this moment, the sapling sprang out of the storage ring. "Give me the stone essence." The first thing the sapling said when it came out was to ask for the stone essence. "What do you want the stone essence for?" Ningyu was confused. He didn't know what the sapling wanted. "Of course I want to break the heaven and earth slaughtering formation," the sapling snapped. "Thank God you have the stone essence, and the heaven and earth slaughtering formation is already unstable. Otherwise, you'll never be able to leave this place. I didn't expect you to know how to break the heaven and earth slaughtering formation." Ningyu tossed the stone essence to the sapling. "Do you know how to set up the heaven and earth slaughtering formation as well? As long as I have enough materials, I can set up the simplest heaven and earth slaughtering formation." The sapling replied, "Our top priority is to find a way to break the formation as soon as possible. We can't stay here for long because I can sense that there's an extremely terrifying being on its way here at full speed. An extremely terrifying existence." Ningyu was stunned and asked in bewilderment. "That being is even more powerful than the powerful being trapped underground," the sapling said. "Don't worry about that for now. It's best if you leave." "Not good." The sapling's words came to an abrupt halt. Crap! The sapling transformed into an after-image before disappearing into the storage ring. Chapter 1304. Chapter 1304. Chapter 1304 Golden Flame. The cultivators underground were extremely powerful. They could easily deal with the Stone King and Supremacy Ba Li with a single palm strike. and the existence in the outside world was actually comparable to the experts in the underground world. Rumble. Before Ning Yu could recover from his shock, the entire three-stone cave began to shake violently. Bang! In the end, a huge beam of light appeared from the top of the three-stone cavern and forcefully blasted a hole in it. Shio! A golden figure quickly emerged from the gap. Three-legged golden crow. Seeing the figure that suddenly appeared, Ning Yu's expression changed. Ning Yu would never have thought that the expert mentioned by the sapling was the three-legged golden crow. The three-legged golden crow was an ancient ferocious beast with extremely powerful strength. Although the three-legged golden crow in front of him had not reached the peak of its power, it still gave Ning Yu a terrifying sense of oppression. "Where is the king of the Stone Nation?" The three-legged golden crow looked around and asked Ning Yu. "Down there." Ning Yu knew that the three-legged golden crow was very powerful and it was not a good time to start a conflict with him. As long as the three-legged golden crow did not attack Ning Yu would not make the first move. Knitting his brows, the three-legged golden crow's face instantly turned cold. The Stone Monarch is an Earth sovereign, while you're only a middle-phase 6th grade sovereign. How did you survive and the Stone Monarch was killed? This, Ning Yu did not know how to answer. He couldn't say that the Underground King was powerful, and that was why the Underground King fought him, right? If that was the case, Ning Yu was certain that he would die in the next second. "Speak." The three-legged golden crow shone brightly and pressed down on Ning Yu, saying, "If you can't satisfy me today, you can go to hell in advance." Poochie. Under the pressure of the three-legged golden crow's powerful aura, Ning Yu's knees felt sore, and he had the urge to kneel down. Not long ago, a giant palm suddenly appeared from the ground and killed the Earth Supreme in the Pill Cauldron, then the Stone King. Ning Yu gritted his teeth and said, "As for why he didn't kill me, it might be because he saw that my cultivation was low and the energy I had was small, so he didn't want to waste time." That seems to make sense. The three-legged golden crow nodded slowly and said, "Go and lure the powerhouse out. I want to see what he's capable of." Gulp. Ning Yu swallowed a mouthful of saliva. The strength of the underground expert was extremely terrifying. He could kill the Stone King and the Venerable Barley with a single hand. Provoke him? This was no different from courting death. "I wanted to spare your life, but since you don't know what's good for you, I can only send you to hell." With a low roar, the three-legged golden crow opened its mouth and spat out a golden flame. The golden flame was about the thickness of an arm, and its burning power was extremely terrifying. Sizzle. The surrounding air sizzled as it was burned by the golden flames. Even the void began to tremble slightly. Myriad Beast Flame. At the critical moment, Ning Yu flicked his sleeve and summoned the Myriad Beast's flame. Myriad Bone Flame. After some thought, Ning Yu summoned the Myriad Bone Flame and combined it with the Myriad Beast Flame to confront the golden flame spat out by the three-legged golden crow. The three terrifying flames clashed in the slaughtering heaven and earth annihilation array. Echem. The three-legged golden crow raised an eyebrow and stared at the Myriad Beast Flame and Myriad Bone Flame with interest. The flames ranked 29th and 30th on the mystical flame ranking. "Looks like you're not an ordinary cultivator." Swish. The three-legged golden crow then recalled the golden flame and said to Ning Yu, "Give me the Myriad Bone Flame and Myriad Beast Flame for free and I will spare your life." Ning Yu's face darkened. He did not answer the three-legged golden crow immediately. He had already kept the Myriad Beast Flame and Myriad Bone Flame as his natal flame. If he handed them over to the three-legged golden crow, he would suffer great harm. If he did not hand them over, the three-legged golden crow would definitely start a massacre. Things were getting more and more troublesome. If I forcefully merge the Myriad Beast Flame and Myriad Bone Flame together, I wonder if the explosive power will be able to withstand the three-legged golden crow. Ning Yu murmured, "Let's do it." Ning Yu was not an indecisive person. He immediately recalled the Myriad Beast Flame and Myriad Bone Flame. One hovered above his left hand, while the other hovered above his right. "Very well. You're the first cultivator I've killed since I came out of seclusion." The three-legged golden crow's face was expressionless as he said, "I want everyone to know that I, the three-legged golden crow, have once again. However, the three-legged golden crow's expression changed slightly as he quickly retreated. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, the crack on the ground widened once again. When the crack had widened to a certain extent, a giant palm slowly stretched out from the ground. What? Sky! Sky supreme! The three-legged golden crow's expression changed drastically when he saw the sudden appearance of the palm. Although the three-legged golden crow was powerful, his cultivation was far from that of a Sky Supreme. If the owner of the palm had the strength of a Sky Supreme, then the three-legged golden crow might have fallen in the three-stone cave. No, his strength has dropped. He's far from the Sky Supreme level. The three-legged golden crow's fiery eyes quickly discovered the problem. I'll chop off your palm. Let's see how you're going to play tricks then. With a cold snort, the three-legged golden crow flapped his wings and a cold light flew out, slashing at the giant palm. Ding! The giant palm did not manage to dodge in time and was struck by the cold light. It was knocked back several feet. Buzz! After its attack failed, the giant palm did not linger. Instead, it quickly rushed toward the crack. Ningyu, follow that palm. The anxious voice of the sapling rang in Ningyu's ears. Ningyu was taken aback at first. Then, without any regard for the consequences, he stomped on the ground and charged toward the crevice at an astonishing speed. Not good. The three-legged golden crow's expression changed slightly when he saw Ningyu dashing out. He barked coldly, trying to escape from me. I'll sacrifice you alive. The three-legged golden crow let out a roar and flapped his wings as he charged toward Ningyu. Whoosh! In the nick of time, a green branch shot out from the storage ring and blocked the three-legged golden crow's path. The World Tree. How powerful was the three-legged golden crow? He knew a thing or two about the World Tree. There was even a giant branch of the World Tree among the three-legged golden crows. However, that branch of the World Tree had completely lost its vitality. The branch that appeared now still possessed a terrifying vitality. The three-legged golden crow was overjoyed. He laughed wildly. I didn't expect to find something as good as the World Tree after coming out of seclusion. This trip was not in vain. Go! The three-legged golden crow's eyes turned cold. He opened his mouth and spat out a golden flame. Compared to the golden flame from before, the temperature of the flame this time was even higher and more powerful. Whoosh! However, it didn't matter how powerful the golden flame was. Ningyu and the giant palm quickly entered the crack, and the crack also disappeared. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.